Chapter 318. The two hugged each other to sleep in the small bedroom. This should be a warm and comfortable night, but Su Wan and Su Rui were woken up by the urgent ringing of the phone. Su Wan groggily picked up the phone on the bedside table. Looking at the constantly flashing unfamiliar number, she hesitated for a moment before pressing the answer button. Su Wan. A panicked female voice rang from the phone. Though it sounded a bit out of tune, Su Wan could still tell that it was Xiao Qing's voice. "Miss Xiao, what's wrong?" "Su Wan, save me, help me." Xiao Qing sounded anxious over the phone. The place he was at was really noisy too. For a moment, Su Wan couldn't hear him clearly. "Miss Xiao, where are you? What's wrong?" "Blood, so much blood." Su Wan was speechless. "Nani? Did this guy kill someone in the nightclub?" Reality proved that Xiao Qing wasn't as violent as Su Wan imagined. He just had his period after working for half the night. The last bag of Hushu Bao was taken care of. Su Wan suddenly felt stifled. "Brother, no, sister. You're my sister." Xiao Qing was speechless. "Nani? Did I really turn into a woman? Pure girl? A pure girl that bled every month?" Sniffle. "I suddenly don't want to live anymore." Being a woman was so scary. Before the sun rose, Xiao Qing carefully tugged at Su Wan's pajamas with a pale face. "Xiao Wan, I'm a bit scared. Can I stay here? Sleep with me?" "No." Before Su Wan could say anything, Su Rui coldly rejected him. "Don't think that you're a woman just because you have breasts and a butt. I've seen through your perverted heart." Xiao Qing was speechless. "Mubai, I'm asking Xiao Wan. It's not like I'm sleeping with you." Saying this, Xiao Qing couldn't help but roll his eyes at Su Rui. When he was a man, he hadn't even gotten on Su Wan's bed. Now that he was a woman, he didn't even get this benefit. "No one wants to sleep with you." Hearing Xiao Qing's words, General Su's expression immediately turned cold. He grabbed Xiao Qing's collar and dragged him to the side bedroom. "Sleep here." "Hey, bang." Before Xiao Qing could ask anything, General Su closed the door without hesitation. Xiao Qing was speechless. "Do you really think this is your home? Yang Mubai, you're really something. Your friend's wife is really impolite." Xiao Qing cursed inside. In the end, he sat on the bed with a dispirited expression. "I've already become a woman. What else can I fight with you for?" Thinking of this, Xiao Qing's heart broke. He was finally enlightened and prepared to go to a nightclub to pick up girls. Who knew that this would happen before he could even hook up with someone he liked? At that time, Xiao Qing was stunned when he saw his underwear and pants covered in blood. The first thing he thought of was that Xiao Qing's body was going to be ruined too. In his panic, he only remembered Su Wan's phone number and anxiously called her. Forgive Xiao Qing for being a girl for only a few days. He had no concept of menstruation at all. He subconsciously touched his lower abdomen. It was a little cold, and even a little sore and painful. As expected, being a woman was tough. Xiao Qing fell asleep unknowingly on the bed in Su Wan's bedroom. The next day, the sun was already high in the sky. Xiao Qing got up in a daze and immediately jumped out of bed. He checked the bedsheets and then his clothes. Thankfully, he wasn't covered in blood. Xiao Qing's face was pale and he had dark circles under his eyes. The moment he walked out of the room, he saw Su Rui sitting on the sofa doing accounts. "Xiao Bai, what time is it now? Why aren't you selling at Jolene Street?" In a daze, Xiao Qing thought that he had returned to the past. Therefore, he asked in a familiar tone. "Achem?" Su Rui lifted his head and turned around, looking at Xiao Qing suspiciously. "Miss Xiao, you seem to be familiar with Su Wan and my life. You investigated us?" Xiao Qing was speechless. Cough. "I'm just casually asking. Why would I investigate you guys?" Xiao Qing smiled awkwardly at Su Rui. Then his face paled and he touched his lower abdomen. "Damn. It's starting to hurt again." Seeing Xiao Qing's conflicted and pained expression, Su Rui furrowed his brows. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" "I'm fine. I told you. You're a man. What do you know?" Xiao Qing couldn't help but mutter. As soon as he said this, he wanted to slap himself. I'm not a woman. I'm a man, okay? Ding dong. The doorbell suddenly rang at this time. The two people in the room exchanged glances. Xiao Qing looked at Su Rui. Did Xiao Wn forget to bring something back to get it? Su Rui was speechless. Do you think everyone's as forgetful as you? She had been gone for a few hours. Even if she really did forget something, she should have called him to bring it back. Therefore, Su Rui stood up and narrowed his eyes. He already guessed who it was outside the door. After hesitating, Su Rui still walked to the door and opened it. Wearing a thin beige sweater, Jiyu Shuxing stood at the door with a straight back and a cold expression. Mr. Yang, Xiao Qing is here, right? Su Rui moved, revealing Xiao Qing's figure behind him. At this time, Xiao Qing froze seeing Jiyu Shuxing at the door. Why are you here? Did he come to ask for money? Damn. Do I look like someone who doesn't return money? Jiyu Shuxing, it's just money for a meal. You don't need to chase me all the way here. Do you think I'll disappear from the face of the earth? Xiao Qing stared at Jiyu Shuxing's cold expression and couldn't help but roll his eyes. I'll transfer the money to you in a bit with interest. Jiyu Shuxing, what meal? He forgot about it already. Miss Su called me. She said that you weren't feeling well, so she told me to pick you up. Jiyu Shuxing was still expressionless and his tone was neither fast nor slow. Xiao Wan told you to come? Su Rui's gaze flickered hearing Jiyu Shuxing's words. Xiao Qing thought of his body condition and immediately felt bad. Don't come over. I'm fine. You don't need to care about me. You're a doctor, shouldn't you be busy? Why do you care about me? Jiyu Shuxing was speechless. Fine. He really was busy. Plus, he had an operation in the morning. Jiyu Shuxing didn't know what was wrong with him. He clearly disliked Xiao Qing, but thinking that if he didn't care about her, she might cause trouble again, Jiyu Shuxing hesitated. Ouch. While Jiyu Shuxing was silent, Xiao Qing suddenly felt a sharp pain in the living room. He bent over and subconsciously cried out in pain. Hearing his voice, Jiyu Shuxing immediately took a step forward. As if it was a doctor's instinct, he walked over to Xiao Qing's side and supported his slim waist. He lifted his hand and touched his stomach. Where does it hurt? Here. Xiao Qing was speechless. Xiao Qing's face immediately turned red when he felt the long, clean, and warm hand on his stomach. You, open your mouth. I'm normal. I'm definitely normal. Don't touch me, Tilda ahem. Su Rui couldn't help but chuckle. Dr. Jiyu, Miss Xiao seems to be here. It's normal for her to have a stomachache, right? Chapter 319. Xiao Qing's expression turned even uglier. Yang Mubai, you're the one who adds the last hit, right? No wonder Jiyu Shuxing was a doctor. He nodded in all seriousness. This is menstrual pain. Xiao Qing, does it hurt this much every month? How long does it last? Xiao Qing was speechless. Who the hell would I know? Jiyu Shuxing furrowed his brows seeing that Xiao Qing wasn't saying anything. Why don't you lie down on the bed and I'll take a look for you? What? Xiao Qing immediately jumped up. I don't need you to care about me. You pervert. Aren't you a surgeon? What do you know? Jiyu Shuxing was speechless. Surgery is my major after I graduated. I had to learn it when I was in medical school. Plus, I got full marks in every subject. Hearing Xiao Qing's doubt, Jiyu Shuxing actually explained to him seriously. It's scary to be uneducated. Xiao Qing was speechless. Anyways, I'm fine now. Saying this, Xiao Qing purposely straightened his back. His chest was bouncing up and down, blinding everyone's eyes. Jiyu Shuxing took a step back awkwardly. Then I'll send you back and have Aunt Jiang make you some brown sugar water. The Aunt Jiang he was talking about was Jiang Minute. She was Xiao Qing's mother and also Jiyu Shuxing's mother's good friend. Xiao Qing hesitated hearing Jiyu Shuxing mention Jiang Minute. Then he said awkwardly, wait for me. I'm going to the washroom. Speaking of which, how should he change the sanitary pad? He didn't remember it at all after Su Wan did it for him last night. Xiao Qing felt conflicted as he walked. Why don't I just wait until I get home and ask my mother for help? Would she think that he was stupid? Xiao Qing closed the washroom door tightly and then carefully took out his smartphone. Cough. If there's a problem, ask Baidu. After a while, he finally took care of the damn thing. Xiao Qing walked out awkwardly. Let's go. Xiao Qing really didn't like being with Jiyu Shuxing. Jiyu Shuxing was like a moving stone. He was expressionless and cold. He didn't have anything in common with Xiao Qing. However, Xiao Qing had been thinking about it for a while too. In Xiao Qing's social circle, he only knew Jiyu Shuxing. Well, it was better than not knowing anyone at all. After sending the two downstairs, Su Rui's gaze flickered as he watched Jiyu Shuxing drive away. Then he smiled to himself and took the change, preparing to take the bus to Jolene Street to sell his goods. A beautiful new day has begun. Tilda in the evening, Su Wan got off work as usual. As soon as she entered the door, she saw that Su Rui had already changed his clothes and was tidying up the house. The 24 filial husbands definitely lived up to their reputation. Why are you here so early today? Su Wan couldn't help but squint her eyes at Su Rui. Su Rui raised his hand and snapped his fingers. Aren't I afraid of delaying your gathering tonight? What do you think of my outfit? New stock just arrived at Dong's store. He was wearing a burgundy crocheted sweater and a pair of skinny, low-waist casual jeans. Su Wan looked at Su Rui's attire. General Su, you're really good at acting. With this outfit, he should be no different from a university student, right? He was definitely a school hunk. Really handsome. Su Wan gave Su Rui a thumbs up. She was used to seeing Su Rui in suits and windbreakers. This was the first time she saw him in such a popular and youthful outfit. Su Wan's eyes brightened. You think I'm handsome? Hearing the praise for his wife, Su Rui immediately curved his lips. Dongzi helped me find these. Not to mention, the quality of the clothes he helped me find are very good. They're also quite soft and comfortable to wear. They don't seem to be much different from the ones I used to wear. Su Wan was speechless. Nani, it's much different, okay? In the past, your custom-made clothes cost 7 figures, okay? You could buy a room full of popular clothes. However, being able to wear Armani and be able to afford popular clothes, this was a true Adonis. Wait for me. I'll come out after I change. In order to be worthy of her family's handsome Adonis, Su Wan had no choice but to rummage through the original body's wardrobe for a long time. Thankfully, the original body was petite and cute. After finding a nice dress, Su Wan put on some light makeup and styled her hair. Then, she held Su Rui's arm and walked out with a smile. Hungyun Investment wasn't a big company locally, but it was a big name among private investment companies. The company's gathering naturally wouldn't be at a small restaurant or roadside barbecue. Instead, it was set at a 4-star hotel in the city center. When Su Wan and Su Rui took a taxi and arrived, there were already many cars parked in front of the hotel. The two were basically immune to all kinds of famous cars. They didn't look much and just walked into the hotel. Who knew that at this time, a sweet voice suddenly rang from behind them. Xiao Wan? Su Wan, you're here. This voice was especially delicate and sweet. Okay, only the eldest miss in the office, Kang Ya, would have such a sweet voice. Kang Ya. Su Wan lifted the corner of her lips and smiled at Kang Ya. She was wearing a luxurious dress and there were expensive diamonds and jewelry around her neck. She didn't need to look closely to know that it was real. Xiao Wan, is this your boyfriend? Kang Ya smiled at Su Wan. When she saw Su Rui, her eyes flickered. Your boyfriend is so handsome. He looks so young. Is he still in university? What university? He didn't even graduate from primary school. Hearing Kang Ya's words, Su Rui giggled and shrugged. You must be Miss Kang, right? Don't forget to take care of my wife in the company. Kang Ya was speechless. She thought he was a good-looking guy. Damn, so he was just a trash on the inside. Heh. Kang Ya smiled at Su Rui and then turned to hold onto an elite man. This is my boyfriend, Lu Cheng. Hello. Lu Cheng wore a branded suit. He smiled and took out a business card from his pocket, handing it to Su Wan and Su Rui. First time meeting. Please take care of me. Oh, department manager. Does your company have an A version bag? If you do, come and buy it from me. I'll give you a 30% discount. Su Rui took the business card from Lu Cheng and then lifted his brows, asking with a smile. Lu Cheng was speechless. A certain elite felt really awkward. Hair. Su Wan, your husband is really humorous. Kang Ya smiled awkwardly and then held on to Lu Cheng's hand, walking forward. We're going in first. Seeing the two leave, General Su shook his head disinterestedly. The guy is okay but the girl isn't. Lights should be off. General Su, do you want to change your career and become a host for if you are the one? Okay. Su Wan snickered and pulled Su Rui's hand. Let's go in. It's about time. It won't be good if we're late. When they reached the floor of the hotel, there were already many people sitting in the lobby. Xiao Wan, over here. Luo Yang saw Su Wan's figure and immediately stood up and waved at her. When Su Wan and Su Rui walked closer, they saw a young man sitting next to Luo Yang. His gaze landed on Su Wan without blinking. Chapter 320. Qiufeng was 28 years old this year, the golden age. Because his family was well off, Qiufeng took some money from his parents to start his own business after graduating from university. He was the owner of a small company now. Compared to people of the same age, he was considered quite wealthy. Seeing Su Rui and Su Wan, Qiufeng automatically ignored General Su. Instead, he smiled and stood up to give his seat to Su Wan. Su Wan, you're here. Sit here. There's an empty seat here. Su Wan was speechless. Who are you? Forgive the original body for not having any impression of the man in front of her. Although Qiufeng wasn't handsome, his facial features were decent. It was just that his appearance didn't match the original body's aesthetics. Therefore, in the original body's impression, he was just a passerby. Hearing Qiufeng's words, Su Wan smiled politely. General Su wouldn't be polite with him. Oh, you're so polite. You even reserved seats for us, Su Rui said while pulling Su Wan to his original seat under Qiufeng's flabbergasted gaze. This, Qiufeng froze and couldn't help but glare at Su Rui. General Su was speechless. Why are you staring at me? You've never seen a handsome man. Cough. Xiaofeng, come sit here. Luo Yang saw that the situation was a bit awkward. She immediately smiled and pulled her cousin over to her side. Then she smiled at Su Wan and Su Rui. Xiao Wan, this is your boyfriend. He's really handsome. What's your name? Yang Mubai. Su Rui nodded at Luo Yang. Mr. Yang, what a nice name. It sounds poetic and picturesque. You look like a gentleman too. I wonder what you do for a living. Luo Yang continued to smile, looking at Su Rui intimately. Su Rui lifted his brows and smiled at Luo Yang. I'm not as cultured as my Xiao Wan. She can sit in an office and be a white-collar worker. I just set up a stall on Jolene Street and sell fake goods. Saying this, Su Rui's long and narrow eyes swept over Luo Yang. Sister, I have sources of your watch too. It's definitely better than yours. I can see the logo clearly under an 8 times magnifying glass. Speaking of which, how much did you buy it for? The workmanship is average. You didn't get scammed, right? Luo Yang, everyone's gazes landed on Luo Yang's wrist. Everyone knew that Luo Yang's husband had bought that watch for her. Apparently, it was a famous Swiss watch and it was really expensive. When she first wore it, she often showed it off in front of everyone. Sensing everyone's suspicious and gloating gazes, Luo Yang immediately tugged at her sleeves awkwardly. Xiao Yang, you really know how to joke. This is a gift from someone. I bought it from overseas. Oh, hearing Luo Yang's words, Su Rui purposely dragged out his voice. Understood. Authentic products from overseas. All right, it's time to eat. Stop talking nonsense. Seeing that it was about time, Su Wn pouted coquettishly and pulled on Su Rui's sleeves. Then she smiled at Luo Yang. Sister Yang, don't take offense. It's a problem of his profession. The moment he sees a luxury item, he thinks it's fake. Luo Yang, haha tilde, the company's gathering was just that. Everyone gathered together to eat, drink, and gossip. After the meal, someone suggested going to karaoke. Su Wan and Su Rui weren't interested in karaoke, so they found an excuse to go home early. But the moment they walked out of the hotel, they saw a grey Mercedes-Benz parked there. The car window rolled down, revealing Qiufeng's face. Are you guys going back? It's hard to get a taxi right now. I'll give you guys a ride. Sure. Hearing Qiufeng's words, Su Rui happily pulled Su Wn onto the car. Once inside, he couldn't help but pat the leather seat in the back seat exaggeratedly. Your car isn't bad. It's pretty cool. It's okay, it's okay. Sensing the envy in Su Rui's voice, Qiufeng immediately straightened his back, a pleased look on his face. Su Wan was speechless. General Su, you're getting more and more mischievous tilde right. Xiao Wn, where do you live? Qiufeng wasn't polite at all. She even forgot who he was, but he called her Xiao Wan as if they were close. He was trying to find out Su Wan's address through various methods. I live at... Su Wn was about to speak when Su Rui smiled and gave him an address. Please take us there. Ah. Qiufeng froze hearing Su Rui's words. Because the address Su Rui gave was a high-class villa area. What? You can't find the way? Seeing Qiufeng's dazed expression, General Su couldn't help but smile and ask, do you want me to show you the way? No need. I know. Qiufeng snapped out of his trance and secretly looked at Su Rui and Su Wan. They didn't look like they could afford to live there. Plus, he asked his cousin about Su Wan's family background. Her relatives were all from other places. She rented a house here and didn't have much money. While Qiufeng was confused, Su Rui had already taken out his counterfeit phone and sent a message to Xiao Qing. That's right. Su Rui gave him Xiao Qing's address. Xiao Qing had just been forced by his mother, Jiang Minute, to drink a big bowl of black-boned chicken soup. Speaking of which, Xiao Qing had been an orphan since he was young. This was the first time he felt the feeling of having a family. He replaced Xiao Qing, so he naturally wanted to do his best to be filial to his parents. As for Jiang Minute, she was the type of noble madam who doted on her children. She treated her only daughter like a precious treasure. Xiao Qing had just been cared for by Jiang Minute and felt like he was about to die when he suddenly received his good brother's message. Seeing the content, Xiao Qing was furious. Motherfucker. There's actually a pretty boy who's thinking about Su Wan. Although Su Wan wasn't his wife anymore, she used to be his wife. Plus, maybe she'll become his brother's wife one day. In short, Xiao Qing immediately climbed out of bed after reading Su Rui's message. Then he hurriedly put on a jacket and ran downstairs. Jiang Minute was drinking tea downstairs when she saw her daughter rushing downstairs. She immediately looked at Xiao Qing with concern. Xiao Qing, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell again? How about I call Shuxing over to take a look? I'm fine. I'm going to pick up 2 friends. Xiao Qing said this as he ran out of the villa. Friends? Jiang Min's eyes flickered hearing Xiao Qing's words. She had spoiled her precious daughter. She liked to hang out with a bunch of scoundrels since she was young. After the car accident, she finally calmed down for a few days. Why did she return to her old ways right after being discharged from the hospital? Thinking of this, Jiang Minute couldn't help but take out her phone and call Jiu Shuxing. Shuxing, my Qingqing still feels unwell. If you don't have anything to do, why don't you come over and take a look at her? Jiu family lived in this area too. They weren't far from Xiao family. Jiu Shuxing had just come out of the bathroom. Hearing Jiang Min's words, he hesitated before nodding in the end. Aunt Jiang, I understand. I'll go over in a bit. Hanging up the phone, Jiu Shuxing sighed and returned to the bedroom to find clothes. Chapter 321. The autumn wind was a bit cold. Xiao Qing couldn't help but shiver as he stood in front of the villa with his jacket draped over his shoulders. At this time, a car slowly drove over. "Ah, it's a Benz." Xiao Qing pursed his lips. "I'm someone who drives a Ferrari now. What's the big deal about a 1,000,000 yuan Benz?" The car stopped right next to Xiao Qing. Qiu Feng also froze when he saw the beauty outside the villa. No matter if it was her figure or appearance, Xiao Qing was definitely the best. "We're here." Seeing Qiu Feng staring unblinkingly at Xiao Qing outside the window, Su Rui smiled faintly and then jumped out of the car first. He waved at Xiao Qing and exclaimed, "You must be anxious from waiting, right? Are you cold? What do you think?" Xiao Qing rolled his eyes at Su Rui. From Qiu Feng's perspective, the beauty's action of rolling her eyes was mesmerizing. Qiu Feng couldn't help but get out of the car as well. He tidied up his expensive suit and stood by the side politely. His gaze swept over Xiao Qing's face from time to time. "Xiao Wan, Mubai, is this your friend?" Su Wan was speechless. "As expected, you're a close friend." "Yeah, I'm Xiao Qing." Xiao Qing glanced at Qiu Feng. Damn. He remembered now. Wasn't he Luo Yang's cousin? In the past, Xiao Qing had encountered Qiu Feng at Su Wan's company's gathering. At that time, he already felt that there was something wrong with this pervert's gaze. Damn. As expected, this was premeditated. Thinking of this, Xiao Qing smiled at Qiu Feng even more charmingly. "What's your name, handsome? People say that men understand men the best." Seeing Qiu Feng staring at him, Xiao Qing couldn't help but brush his hair and his slender fingers carelessly brushed past his chest. Qiu Feng was speechless. A certain someone was about to have a nosebleed, okay? What was a mature woman? What was a mature woman? What was an angel's face and a devil's body? Today, Qiu Feng saw it with his own eyes. In an instant, he completely forgot about the little angel in his heart. Seeing that Qiu Feng was head over heels for him, Xiao Qing secretly made a hand gesture to Su Rui. In the past, the two of them had come up with this hand gesture when they were doing bad things together. Right now, Xiao Qing's hand gesture was telling Su Rui to leave. Seeing Xiao Qing's actions, Su Rui immediately understood and quickly brought Su Wan into Xiao family's villa. Only Xiao Qing and Qiu Feng were left outside. "My name is Qiu Feng. Miss Xiao can just call me a Feng." Right now, Qiu Feng was looking at Xiao Qing in fascination. He didn't notice their departure at all. "Qiu Feng? Fuck, I'll let you drink the southwest wind today." Xiao Qing narrowed his eyes and leaned against Qiu Feng's Benz. "Aya, why is it so stuffy all of a sudden?" He raised his hand and adjusted his collar. Qiu Feng, who was beside him, secretly swallowed a mouthful of saliva so big ahem. Xiao Qing couldn't help but cough again. "I really didn't know that you had such explosive power with your small body. Do you go to the gym often? Do you have an 8-pack? Come, let me see." Let me see." Saying this, Xiao Qing reached out to grab Jiyu Shuxing's shirt. Jiyu Shuxing was speechless. "Stop messing around." Jiyu Shuxing's expression darkened. He stared at Xiao Qing deeply. "Weren't you feeling unwell? Why are you still standing outside? You're wearing so little." "Oh, right." Xiao Qing finally remembered Su Wan and Su Rui after hearing Jiyu Shuxing's words. "I'm here to pick up Xiao Bai and Xiao Wan. That pervert is actually thinking about our Xiao Wan. He's really out of his league." Saying this, Xiao Qing dragged Jiyu Shuxing into the courtyard. "Since you're here, great. Let's go in and have a good meal together." Yang Mubai and Su Wan came too? Jiyu Shuxing was confused. Didn't he see the two figures as soon as he entered the courtyard? Xiao Qing, when did she become so familiar with them? Dr. Jiyu. Seeing Xiao Qing pulling Jiyu Shuxing into the courtyard with a smile, Su Wan's gaze brightened. Could this be the legendary protagonist's halo? Chapter 322. Although Jiyu Shuxing wasn't familiar with Su Rui and Su Wan, he wasn't unfamiliar with them either. The four of them entered the villa's living room. Jiang Minute froze because she had never seen her daughter's two friends before. Did they just get to know each other? They looked pretty good. At least, they were much better than her friends. Ching, these two are. Jiang Minute first looked at Su Wn and then at Su Rui. She couldn't help it. General Su was too eye-catching. Mainly based on his temperament. Though Su Rui was wearing a common style, Jiang Minute could sense that this young man wasn't simple. Mom, these two are my best friends. This is Su Wn and this is Yang Mubai. Xiao Wan, Xiao Bai, this is my mom. You guys can call her Aunt Jiang like Jiu Shuxing. Hello, Aunt Jiang. Su Wan and Su Rui smiled and greeted Jiang Minute. Jiang Minute also smiled and nodded at the two. Since you're Ching's friends, don't be so polite. Just treat this as your home. Jiang Minute had always been open-minded. She planned on working in the study so she wouldn't disturb the young people's gathering. Before going upstairs, she didn't forget to order the housekeeper to bring them fruits and drinks. Xiao Qing had already sat on the sofa in the living room. Then he looked at Su Rui and Su Wan with a smug expression. Jiu Shuxing and I took care of that damn brat. He probably won't harass Xiao Wan anymore. Su Wan smiled hearing Xiao Qing's words. Su Rui wore a complicated expression. Miss Xiao, can I talk to you alone? Xiao Qing was speechless. Xiao Qing froze. Seeing Su Rui's solemn expression, he hesitated before standing up. Come upstairs with me. Su Wan's gaze flickered as she watched the two go upstairs. Jiu Shuxing continued to sit there with a dark expression. I didn't expect Dr. Jiu to be so skilled. Su Wn took the lead to break the silence between the two people. Jiu Shuxing faintly answered, it's all right. I've learned a bit in the past. I see. Hearing Jiu Shuxing's words, Su Wn couldn't help but lift her eyes and look at him with a smile. In the past, I always thought that Dr. Jiu was very aloof. I didn't think that there would be a time when you would get angry for a beauty. Heh, you must really care about Miss Xiao, right? Xiao Qing, hearing Su Wn mention his fiancée, Jiu Shuxing's expressionless face finally flashed with a conflicted expression. Did he care? He seemed to have never considered this problem. All along, Jiu Shuxing felt that the reason why he helped Xiao Qing was because he didn't want him to cause trouble. Seeing that Jiu Shuxing still didn't seem to understand, Su Wn couldn't help but lean on the sofa behind her and slowly sighed. Actually, Miss Xiao is really a good person. She's very enthusiastic and willing to help her friends. Dr. Jiu, why do you think Mu Bai is looking for Miss Xiao? Don't tell me you want to confess to her. A confession? Hearing Su Wan's words, Jiu Shuxing looked up and quietly looked at Su Wan's eyes. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but when the words reached his mouth, he suddenly didn't know what to say. Xiao Qing, could it be that she liked Yang Mubai? But they hadn't known each other for long. They hadn't even seen each other twice. For some reason, Jiu Shuxing suddenly recalled the day when he sent Yang Mubai and Su Wn home. He stared at their backs. Xiao Qing seemed to be gritting his teeth. Thinking of this possibility, Jiu Shuxing's calm heart wavered a bit. His fiancée fell in love with someone else. What should he do? This seemed to be a serious problem. Forgive the bookworm Dr. Jiu for not being good at solving this type of problem since he was young. He was really stumped by this problem. Right now, in the bedroom upstairs. Come in. This is my room. Xiao Qing brought Su Rui to his bedroom. Xiao Qing's bedroom was originally filled with the aura of a young girl. Unfortunately, a man was living here now. Therefore, the room was naturally messy. Xiao Qing's speed of making trash wasn't fast enough for the nanny to clean it up. Xiao Bai, what do you, Xiao Qing turned around, planning on asking his buddy what he wanted. Who knew that Su Rui would force him into a corner the moment he turned around? Xiao Qing was speechless. What are you doing? Xiao Qing realized that he had become the weaker party. Seeing Su Rui's cold expression, he instinctively felt fearful. Who are you? Su Rui narrowed his eyes, his aura a bit cold. Hearing his words, Xiao Qing widened his eyes and looked at Su Rui strangely. He subconsciously opened his mouth wide. For a moment, anxiety, surprise, and nervousness filled Xiaoqing's heart. Did Xiao Bai recognize him? While Xiaoqing was letting his imagination run wild, Su Rui spoke again. Xiaoqing, is that you? Xiao Bai, you. Xiaoqing's face was filled with surprise and joy. Xiao Bai, how did you? It really is you. Su Rui's expression changed seeing Xiaoqing's reaction. His eyes couldn't help but redden. His eyes were glistening with tears. You didn't even tell your buddy that you're alive. Do you know how many tears you tricked me into crying? Saying this, Su Rui patted Xiaoqing. Ouch. Xiaoqing couldn't help but jump around under Su Rui's hand. Xiao Bai, I was wrong. I was afraid of scaring you. It doesn't make sense for me to reincarnate into someone else's body. Besides, how did you see through it? I think I acted really well. Do you think I'm stupid? Xiaoqing is a young miss, but she knows Su Wan's address, phone number, and even knows where I set up my stall. The strangest thing is that you even know the secret code that Xiaoqing and I created. If I still can't guess who you are, then there's definitely something wrong with my brain. Xiaoqing was speechless. So I'm actually so full of loopholes? Hearing Su Rui's words, Xiaoqing felt worried for his intelligence. Sigh, intelligence really is a problem. Phut. There's nothing wrong with my intelligence. I'm just too worried. Thinking of this, Xiaoqing jumped to the side and tidied his clothes. He looked at Su Rui solemnly. You're still talking about me? Let me ask you, Yang Mubai, have you long harbored evil intentions towards our family's Su Wan? Screw you. Su Rui cursed. Don't you know that you can't bully your friend's wife? I saw that she was so sad after your accident and wanted to comfort her. Xiao Wan is also a good girl. She knows that my family is in trouble and I don't have a place to live, so she took the initiative to lend me a room. The two of us are absolutely innocent. General Su, you're so good at lying. Your acting skills are amazing. Xiaoqing froze for a bit. Indeed, he didn't see the two being too intimate with each other. Plus, Su Rui lifted his brows and looked at Xiaoqing. What else can you do with Su Wan right now? I think that Dr. Jiu downstairs is interested in you. He even wants to play the hero and save the damsel in distress. Just pretend that you've reincarnated. Be a woman and get married. Impossible. Xiaoqing's expression turned ugly hearing Su Rui's words. At most, I'll go overseas and find the best hospital for a sex change operation. I don't want to be a woman and be suppressed by other men for the rest of my life. Don't even think about it. Really? Su Rui narrowed his eyes and looked at Xiaoqing dangerously. That's what you said. Xiaoqing, you have to remember it. Xiaoqing was speechless. How could he forget? Chapter 323. Su Rui and Xiaoqing didn't stay upstairs for long. When they came downstairs, Jiu Shuxing subconsciously glanced at Xiaoqing. Xiaoqing was clearly excited right now. Ever since he had reincarnated into Xiaoqing hadn't been depressed to death due to his thick nerves. However, he had always been terrified and apprehensive. He had suddenly changed from a man to a woman and he couldn't tell anyone. This was a type of inhumane torture. Thankfully, he wasn't alone now. It was common sense to reincarnate into someone else's body. If others didn't know about it, they'd definitely be in danger. But Yang Mubai was different. After all, he was his sworn brother. If Xiaoqing had to choose the person he trusted the most in this world, he would definitely choose Yang Mubai. The relationship between men was straightforward and reliable. I'm really happy today. Mother Zhong, go get some vegetables, seafood, and beef. I'm going to have hot pot with my brothers. Xiaoqing wanted to have hot pot in his excitement. Hearing her young miss's order, Nanny Zhong immediately ran to the kitchen to make it. Su Wan sat on the sofa and smiled at Xiaoqing. Miss Xiao, what made you so happy? I didn't see you in such a good mood before coming upstairs. Xiaoqing's gaze flickered and he smiled faintly at Su Wan. It's nothing. Just some small things. In short, I'm really happy. Getting to know you and Xiao Bai is the happiest thing in my life. Don't leave today. Let's drink until we're drunk. You better not drink or eat spicy food right now. Xiao Qing was in high spirits when Jiyu Shuxing expressionlessly poured a bucket of cold water on him. Xiao Qing was speechless. That's why it's so hard to be a woman. You don't know how expensive it is if you don't manage the household. You don't know how hard it is to be a woman. Hearing Jiyu Shuxing's words, Xiao Qing hesitated and lowered his voice. I can eat and drink less, right? Maybe it was because Xiao Qing didn't take care of his body in the past, so his menstrual cramps were quite serious. Thinking about how he rolled around on the bed with a pale face in pain in the afternoon, Xiao Qing was still a bit scared. We'll drink. You can drink something hot. It's the same. You can't eat spicy food anyway. Seeing Xiao Qing's conflicted expression, Su Rui couldn't help but pat his shoulder and suggest softly, "That's right." Xiao Qing's expression brightened. "Damn. My brain is useless. I don't like spicy food to begin with. I almost got tricked by Jiyu Shuxing." Hearing Su Rui's words, Jiyu Shuxing couldn't help but look at him again. He even knew Xiao Qing's eating habits. "Isn't this a little strange? It just so happens that we didn't eat anything at the party just now. Now that you mention it, I'm a little hungry." Su Wan saw that the atmosphere in the hall was a bit strange. She couldn't help but touch her stomach and said softly. Xiao Qing couldn't help but smile at her. Then Xiao Wan, "You should eat more later. Don't you love eating prawns? Let Little White help you." Xiao Qing also figured it out. Even if he found a girlfriend in the future or if he had a sex change or something, he wouldn't be able to be with Su Wan. Therefore, he should matchmake her with Yang Mubai. There was nothing wrong with that. "I'm the kindest ex-girlfriend in history. Come, give me a thumbs up." Hearing Xiao Qing's words, Su Wan's expression turned awkward. "Damn. Can you be any dumber? You're full of flaws. How am I supposed to continue pretending? Do you think everyone is as stupid as you are? I really don't understand how Jiyu Shuxing got tricked by you in the original plot." Su Wan suddenly felt bitter. Damn it. She shouldn't have accepted this mission out of curiosity and playfulness in the first place. Su Wan was unhappy. Su Wan had emotions. Who asked you to be so stupid? Who asked you to be curious? Xiao Wan? Xiao Qing didn't know what was wrong with Su Wan seeing her in a daze. Therefore, he couldn't help but call her softly, "Xiao Wan, are you okay?" "I'm fine. Su Wan smiled bitterly at Xiao Qing, wanting to say something but stopping herself. "I want to strangle you to death. Do you know that?" Seeing that his wife was infuriated by Xiao Qing, Su Rui couldn't help but chuckle. "Okay. I think Xiao Wan was angered by Qiu Feng. Don't be angry. Let's eat a big meal tonight and forget about all the unhappy things." "That's right. Life is short. You can be poor for your entire life but you can't be rich for your entire life. You can work hard for your entire life but you can still live happily for your entire life. What's that saying again? Be a human. The most important thing is to be happy." Saying this, Xiao Qing couldn't help but bend down and pat Jiyu Shuxing's shoulder. "Old Jiyu, don't you think so?" Jiyu Shuxing was speechless. "Who gave you the guts to call the handsome and invincible Dr. Jiyu Laro Jiyu? I don't eat at this time." Jiyu Shuxing looked at Xiao Qing. "Xiao Qing, if you're fine, I'll be going back first." "What?" Xiao Qing was unhappy seeing that Jiyu Shuxing didn't give him face. "I'm asking you to come with me because I think highly of you. You're acting cold in front of me." "Sure. Go back to where you came from. My family doesn't have a place for you." Saying this, Xiao Qing quickly walked to the villa's door and opened it. Come. Hurry up and leave if you want to leave. Don't dilly-dally. Aren't you a man? Nani? If you don't give me face, I don't want to be friends with you anymore." Hair. Seeing that Xiao Qing was humiliated by Jiyu Shuxing, the loser's pride couldn't take it anymore. Su Wan couldn't help but laugh. "Dr. Jiyu, seriously. Sister Xiao Qing asked you to stay for a meal because it's good for you. You're so unromantic." Xiao Qing was speechless. "How am I romantic?" I just want to be brothers with him. Hearing Su Wan's words, Jiyu Shuxing, who had already walked to the door, paused. He lowered his eyes and looked at the angry woman by the door. His heart was suddenly moved. I really can't eat. You guys eat. Saying this, Jiyu Shuxing walked out of the Xiao family's door. Bang. Xiao Qing slammed the door shut. Who was it? Rich people are particular about a lot of things. Come. Ignore him. The three of us can eat. Xiao Qing tossed Jiyu Shuxing's matter to the back of his mind. Su Wan was speechless seeing his heartless look. Okay. You're the most carefree female lead I've ever seen. Su Wan secretly curled her lips. The moment she raised her eyes, she met Su Rui's smiling eyes. That gaze seemed to be saying, he's going to win. Su Wan was speechless. There was still someone who hadn't made her debut yet. Wasn't it too early to come to a conclusion? Thinking of the female lead who was about to return home, Su Wan couldn't help but raise her brows at Su Rui. Chapter 324. A City International Airport. Yarrow Shanshan took off her sunglasses and looked at her hometown. A smile of reminiscence flashed across her beautiful face. Jiyu Shuxing, I'm back. A city central hospital. Ever since leaving Xiao Qing's home that night, Jiyu Shuxing hadn't seen his unreliable fiancé for a while. A few days ago, Jiyu Shuxing met Jiang Minute in the neighborhood and found out from her that Xiao Qing had been with Yang Mubai every day. He seemed to have invested in Yang Mubai's store and wanted to help him expand it. Didn't he know that a tall tree attracts the wind? Jiyu Shuxing was speechless at this. But when he thought of how close Xiao Qing and Yang Mubai were, he felt a bit uncomfortable. They were engaged before they were born. Although he and Xiao Qing didn't have deep feelings for each other these 2 years, the two didn't talk about the engagement. Of course, what made Jiyu Shuxing toss and turn these few days was something else. Xiao Qing, Yang Mubai, and Su Wan. Jiyu Shuxing felt that Xiao Qing's attitude towards those two people was strange. Moreover, she seemed to know them too well. Even if she hired a private investigator, it was impossible for her to know the details of their meals and lives. Xiao Qing, what are you hiding? It was already evening by the time he got off work at the hospital. Jiyu Shuxing changed his clothes as usual and went straight to the parking lot of the hospital to get his car. Who knew that as soon as he walked out of the inpatient building, he was stopped by a clear and melodious female voice. Jiyu Shuxing. Jiyu Shuxing froze hearing the voice. He quickly turned around and saw Yarrow Shanshan wearing a light blue coat smiling brightly at him under the setting sun. Jiyu Shuxing, I'm back. While speaking, she quickly ran in front of him, opened her arms and hugged him tightly. 7 years ago, the two met overseas. At that time, they were both international students. After learning that they came from the same city, their relationship instantly got closer. At that time, Yarrow Shanshan already knew that Jiyu Shuxing liked her, but it was very, very difficult to get this rigid man to take the initiative to confess. Yarrow Shanshan was also a beauty, and there were many people who chased after her overseas. At that time, Yarrow Shanshan hinted at Jiyu Shuxing to confess to her at her birthday party, but this guy didn't understand. In the end, in a fit of anger, Yarrow Shanshan found a foreigner to be her boyfriend. In fact, she just wanted to anger Jiyu Shuxing. She didn't really plan to do anything with that man. Who knew that Jiyu Shuxing would take the initiative to call her after finding out about it? After that, the two of them stopped contacting each other. Yarrow Shanshan was also a very proud woman. She felt that since Jiyu Shuxing was not willing to compromise for her, she might as well cut ties with him. Until 2 years ago, when Yarrow Shanshan met the overseas student she had hung out with back then at a company cocktail party. From him, Yarrow Shanshan found out that on the day she announced that she had a boyfriend, Jiyu Shuxing had been drinking alone in the dormitory until dawn. As a man who aspired to be the best surgeon in the world, he absolutely could not drink. And that day, Jiyu Shuxing got himself drunk. He was the only one who silently endured it. He silently turned around and left. Perhaps this was his way of dealing with people. Yarrow Shanshan didn't understand back then, but she did now. That was why she came back. Shanshan. Looking at Yarrow Shanshan, who didn't change much, Jiyu Shuxing's unchanging iceberg face revealed a rare smile. When did you come back? Today. I came to find you as soon as I got off the plane. Are you touched? Yarrow Shanshan let go of her hands and looked at Jiyu Shuxing with sparkling eyes. Before she came back this time, she had already arranged everything for herself. She also found someone to inquire about Jiyu Shuxing and knew that he was still single. This time, she had to take the initiative and not miss this man again. Hee hee. Hearing Yarrow Shanshan's words, Jiyu Shuxing smiled faintly. I just got off work. Let's go eat. I'll hold a welcome dinner for you. Okay. Yarrow Shanshan smiled and turned to Jiyu Shuxing's side. She raised her hand and naturally held his arm. Before I returned to the country, I heard from Mei and the others that a new restaurant, Yi Jiangnan, opened in a city. I heard that their private kitchen is very delicious. Let's go there. Memory Jiangnan. Jiyu Shuxing couldn't help but think of Xiao Qing. He smiled and nodded. Okay, Memory Jiangnan it is. After work was the busiest time in the restaurant. Because they didn't make an appointment in advance, Jiyu Shuxing and Yarrow Shanshan waited for 10 minutes and finally found an empty private room. I don't know what you like to eat now. You can order. Jiyu Shuxing pushed the menu in front of Yarrow Shanshan like a gentleman. Yarrow Shanshan pursed her lips and smiled. Actually, I haven't changed all these years. It's still the same old taste. Even if a woman took the initiative, she couldn't be too direct. Moreover, it was the first time they met after reuniting. Yarrow Shanshan had already given Jiyu Shuxing enough hints. Unfortunately, Dr. Jiyu didn't seem to understand the deeper meaning in Yarrow Shanshan's words. After Yarrow Shanshan finished ordering, the two of them started chatting. With Jiyu Shuxing's cold personality, his circle of friends was very narrow, and there weren't many people who could talk to him. Yarrow Shanshan was the kind of person who was very much to Jiyu Shuxing's liking and could talk to him. This might be the reason why Jiyu Shuxing liked Yarrow Shanshan back then. It wasn't easy to find someone who understood you in a sea of people. However, a lover and a close friend were two completely different concepts. Jiyu Shuxing faced the current Yarrow Shanshan. He had already let go of his first love that ended without a cause. Perhaps it was really because a first love didn't understand love. Memory Jiangnan's dishes were served very quickly. However, before Jiyu Shuxing and Yarrow Shanshan could start eating, a commotion came from outside the private room. I booked a private room at noon. Now you're telling me that you don't have it. What do you mean? Can't I afford it? Jiyu Shuxing immediately knew that it was Xiao Qing's voice when he heard the angry female voice calling out lousy. He didn't know why, but he couldn't help but laugh. Shuxing. What's wrong? Nothing. A friend is downstairs. I'll go take a look. Saying this, Jiyu Shuxing immediately got up and walked outside. Yarrow Shanshan followed him out of the private room with a suspicious expression. Right now, Xiao Qing, Su Rui, and Su Wan were all in the lobby. This was quite a coincidence. Su Wan had already resigned a few days ago. Now, the three of them were focused on managing the store on Jolene Street. The three of them planned to clear out the goods in the store and then find a reliable manufacturer to work with to create a popular brand. The three of them had been working on this for several days. Today, they finally found a factory and they were just short of signing a contract. Because he was happy, Xiao Qing couldn't help but book a table at Memory Jiangnan. He planned on having a good meal with the three of them tonight. Who knew that right before the three of them arrived, a group of district officials had also come here to entertain the leader. At that time, only the private room that Xiao Qing booked was empty. Therefore, the leader didn't put on airs and said, "This is it. Be small, be small. We can't increase the burden on the people." Xiao Qing was speechless. Damn you Miss Xiao, I'm really sorry. Why don't you wait a bit? There will be an empty room soon. Plus, we'll pay for your and your friend's bill today. The manager at the front desk kept apologizing to Xiao Qing, but Xiao Qing just felt bad. Damn. In the past, when I was poor, I was always bullied by tall, rich, and handsome men. Now that I'm a fair, rich, and beautiful woman, I'm still being bullied. Chapter 325. What are you arguing about? Just as Xiao Qing was arguing with the restaurant manager downstairs, a middle-aged man walked out of a private room with an unfriendly expression. Su Rui's gaze flickered seeing the fat figure. This was the captain of the urban management team that tripped Auntie Wang not long ago. It seemed like the private room he was in was the public servant's room. MN. Since he could come out first, it meant that he was the smallest lackey here. Su Rui's lips curled. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. He had been thinking about giving him a big present when he had time. Who knew that someone would give him a pillow when he was about to doze off? I was wondering who it was. The middle-aged man also saw Xiao Qing. He narrowed his eyes and smiled strangely. Isn't this Miss Xiao? Miss Xiao, this is a public place, not your family's company. It's not good if you make a big fuss and affect other people's meals. The boss sitting inside is your Xiao family's bread and butter. Xiao Qing's gaze flickered hearing the middle-aged man's words. He wasn't an idiot anymore. Although he didn't receive Xiao Qing's memories, he could tell that the person sitting inside was someone with real power. Thinking of this, Xiao Qing could only shrug his shoulders and admit that he was unlucky. Fighting against those big shots for a meal? Fuck, if he was the male lead of an urban face-slapping novel, he would definitely screw them over and let them die in one go. Unfortunately, he wasn't. Forget it. Let's go eat somewhere else. Xiao Qing waved his hands. Right as he was about to leave with Su Rui and Su Wan, a familiar voice rang from another private room upstairs. Xiao Qing, I have a place here. Why don't you guys come up and eat together? Saying this, Jiyu Shuxing couldn't help but turn to look at Yarou Shanshan. Shanshan, you don't mind, right? Of course not. Yarou Shanshan smiled sweetly, but her sharp gaze landed on Su Wan and Xiao Qing. Two young beauties. Yarou Shanshan looked at where Su Wan and Su Rui were standing. A woman's intuition told her that these two should be a couple. Therefore, the girl who was arguing the most fiercely was her love rival. Disregarding the fact that Yarou Shanshan had automatically listed Xiao Qing as her love rival, Xiao Qing was about to leave when he heard Jiyu Shuxing's invitation. Damn it. Why are you everywhere? Author, this is called the law of attraction between male and female protagonists. Ever since Jiyu Shuxing left that day, Xiao Qing felt that it was impossible for him to be friends with this rich, handsome man. Therefore, he hadn't contacted Jiyu Shuxing. Now that he was seen in such a sorry state by his former love rival, Xiao Qing naturally didn't want to show weakness. He lifted his head proudly and was about to reject Jiyu Shuxing in an arrogant manner when Xiao Qing noticed Yarou Shanshan next to Jiyu Shuxing. Fuck, what a beauty. A stunning beauty. Feeling Xiao Qing's scrutinizing gaze on her, Yarou Shanshan couldn't help but smile and display her best side as a woman to her love rival. Xiao Qing was speechless. I can't, I've fallen in love at first sight. Speaking of which, ever since he recognized the reality and decided to matchmake Su Wan and Yang Mubai, Xiao Qing had been with Su Wan and Su Rui these days. Then, he suddenly realized that Su Wan had been with him all these years purely because she was blind. Look at her and Yang Mubai. The two of them were really compatible and had a tacit understanding. Xiao Qing felt like he was crying inside. It wasn't because they were a couple. He just felt like he was a failure in his life. But after suddenly meeting the beautiful and elegant Yarou Shanshan today, Xiao Qing suddenly felt like he could believe in love again. Since you have invited us so warmly, we can only reluctantly agree to your presumptuous request. Xiao Qing pouted at Jiyu Shuxing and then his gaze landed on Yarou Shanshan again. How should I address you, beauty? Yarou Shanshan, it's coming. Love rivals probing. Before Jiyu Shuxing could reply, Yarou Shanshan had already climbed onto Jiyu Shuxing's arm. I'm Yarou Shanshan. I'm a friend Shuxing got to know overseas. It's my first day back and he insisted on dragging me here to welcome me. Yarou Shanshan's smile grew brighter as she said this. Damn it, another lost sheep that was fooled by Jiyu Shuxing's fake appearance. Don't be afraid. I'm specialized in saving lambs. Xiao Qing smiled faintly hearing Yarou Shanshan's words. Then he lifted his brows at Jiyu Shuxing. Wow, old Jiyu. You actually got to know such a beautiful woman overseas. Why didn't you tell me about it? Saying this, Xiao Qing smiled at Yarou Shanshan. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Xiao Qing, Jiyu Shuxing's fiancé. Yarou Shanshan was speechless. So she was Jiyu Shuxing's fiancé. Miss Xiao, nice to meet you. When I was studying overseas, I heard Shuxing mention that he had an arranged fiancé. I didn't expect it to be Miss Xiao. Sister Xiao, you're really pretty. It's just that in the modern era, arranged fiancés don't seem to be common anymore. The two women started arguing as soon as they saw each other. Amen. This was just what outsiders saw. In reality, Xiao Qing was happy to talk to Yarou Shanshan Tilda as the female lead of a world. You actually fell for your love rival? Aren't you embarrassed to say that you're the female lead? Why did you give up on treatment? Su Wn watched as Xiao Qing and Yarou Shanshan chatted and laughed as they walked into the room. She really wanted to bang her head on the wall. She wasn't afraid of a godlike opponent, but she was afraid of a pig-like teammate. Wife, you're going to lose. Su Rui brushed his lips against Su Wan's ears while no one was paying attention. Su Wan was speechless. She knew that Su Rui had been with Xiao Qing these past few days. He didn't have any good intentions. Right now, Xiao Qing was slowly getting used to his new life as a woman. However, General Su kept reminding him that he was a man and that he should like women. The dishes were still warm by the time the five returned to the room. Yarou Shanshan naturally sat on Jiyu Shuxing's right side. She originally thought that Xiao Qing would sit on Jiyu Shuxing's left side, but who knew that Xiao Qing would sit next to Yarou Shanshan? Yarou Shanshan, it seems like this love rival is pretty skilled. Xiao Qing, oh my god, my goddess smells so good. I wonder if I can sleep over at her house after we get to know each other better. Just thinking about it makes me excited. Sister Xiao Qing, what do you do for a living? In order to better spy on the enemy, Yarou Shanshan naturally thought of ways to test Xiao Qing. Hearing his goddess ask about his occupation, Xiao Qing immediately straightened his back and smiled modestly. I don't have a stable occupation. I'm just managing a brand with a friend. Yarou Shanshan smiled modestly. Su Wan was speechless. You haven't even gotten a glimpse of him yet. You've really been bewitched by her, haven't you? Seeing that the two women were happily chatting, Jiyu Shuxing sat there and ate gloomily as usual, as if he didn't notice anything amiss. Fine. It's rare to see someone with a low EQ like you. Su Wan suddenly felt like Jiyu Shuxing and Xiao Qing were a perfect match. Although Xiao Qing used to be a man, he was a real woman now. Plus, he was a young woman. In the next few decades, he had to continue living as a woman. He might even get married and have children in the future. Chapter 326. Halfway through the meal, Yarou Shanshan had become Xiao Qing's best friend. Seeing how happy Yarou Shanshan was, Su Wan was speechless. Do you even know what your love rival is thinking? If you could read minds, you wouldn't be smiling this happily. I'm going to the bathroom. Suddenly, Su Rui, who was beside Su Wan, stood up and greeted everyone. Su Rui left his seat. When Su Wan saw him open the door, the middle-aged man from the private room next door just happened to pass by their door. Therefore, General Su, what are you planning on doing? After a few minutes, Su Rui returned with a satisfied expression. Seeing his calm appearance, Su Wan couldn't help but move closer to his ear and ask, no one died, right? Heh. Su Rui chuckled lowly. Dear, this is a lawful society. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Okay. So there were no criminals in the world. Yarou Shanshan also stood up, seeing that Su Wan and Su Rui were whispering to each other. I'm going to the bathroom too. Wait, I'll go with you. Seeing that his goddess was going to the bathroom, Xiao Qing immediately stood up, planning on accompanying her. Xiao Qing, don't smile so wretchedly. I'm just going to the bathroom with my goddess. Su Wan was speechless. So going to the bathroom was contagious. Yarou Shanshan immediately knew what was going on, seeing that Xiao Qing was going to go to the bathroom with her. Yarou Shanshan, is my love rival planning on fighting in the bathroom mode? Go ahead. I'll accompany you. Female bathroom. After Yarou Shanshan came out of the cubicle, She washed her hands and then calmly touched up her makeup in front of the mirror. After a while, Xiaoqing slowly walked out of the cubicle. Nani. Women's clothes were hard to wear. Going to the bathroom was too strenuous. Thinking back to the past, okay, I'm going to cry if I talk too much. Xiaoqing looked up to see his goddess touching up her makeup in front of the mirror. She was so beautiful. He couldn't help but walk over to Yarou Shanshan. While washing her hands, she said, "You're so beautiful. You must have a lot of men chasing after you, right? Do you have a boyfriend?" Xiaoqing, you have to say no. Say no tilde no. Yarou Shanshan put away her makeup box and smiled charmingly at Xiaoqing. But I have a target. He used to like me a lot. I'm confident I can chase after him tilde. Xiaoqing was speechless. Damn, is he talking about Jiyu Shuxing? Damn gigolo, no, I seem to have thought about not calling him that anymore, but, damn, he stole my sweetheart away again. A gentleman doesn't take someone else's love tilde. Yarou Shanshan sighed in relief seeing Xiaoqing frozen in place with a pained expression. Miss Xiao, you know about it, right? Although you and Shuxing are engaged, he doesn't have any feelings for you. You two aren't suitable. Through the investigation just now, Yarou Shanshan had already discovered that this Miss Xiao was just a vase with no combat ability at all. Therefore, at this time, Yarou Shanshan was not afraid to say it out loud. There was nothing wrong with men and women having sex. Moreover, it was a fair competition. Hearing Yarou Shanshan's words, Xiaoqing's last bit of hope disappeared. Although he didn't like Jiyu Shuxing's coldness, he couldn't compare to him at all. All right. Actually, old Jiyu isn't bad either. I wish you both happiness. Saying this, Xiaoqing quickly walked out of the bathroom. Don't call me. Let me have some peace. Nani, I'm heartbroken again tilde. Xiaoqing hurried out of the bathroom and then walked into a private room according to his memory. Xiaoqing was dumbfounded as soon as he opened the door. Nani, I went to the wrong place. Miss Xiao, can you be any more unreliable? When Yarou Shanshan returned to the private room, Jiyu Shuxing was chatting with Su Rui. Yarou Shanshan was surprised to see that Xiaoqing's seat was empty. Miss Xiao didn't come back. Isn't Sister Xiaoqing with you? Su Wn froze hearing Yarou Shanshan's question. She came out first. Could it be, she went somewhere else to make a call? While Yarou Shanshan was saying this, Jiyu Shuxing suddenly stood up and walked out without saying anything. This, Shuxing. Yarou Shanshan froze and then subconsciously chased after him. Oh, is there going to be a good show to watch? Su Wan tilted her head and looked at Su Rui. Where did Xiaoqing go? With Su Rui's internal energy, it wasn't a problem for him to be able to hear everything. Su Wan believed that nothing in the restaurant could escape General Su's ears. He just went to the wrong private room. It's fine. Jiyu Shuxing can handle it. Oh. Su Wan's gaze flickered. Why didn't you stop him? Don't you know that in melodramatic dramas, this is the beginning of the male and female lead's relationship? Sometimes, it's better to let nature take its course, especially human relationships. Su Rui looked deeply at Su Wan. I know why you wanted to exchange missions with me. You want to help me increase my points. I have to accept my wife's kind intentions. Plus, Xiaoqing is quite interesting. Really. No matter if he's a man or a woman, he should be a pure person first. A pure person might not have high IQ or good luck. Maybe he would blame the heavens and others and feel sorry for himself. But people like that could survive no matter what environment they were in, because they had the initial kindness and hope in their hearts. Needless to say, he had been running around for a living with Xiaoqing recently. General Su had experienced the hardships of ordinary people and also the joys of ordinary people. Life was supposed to be full of ups, downs, sorrows, and spices. Su Wan smiled craftily hearing Su Rui's words. That's right. She knew that she would win. It wasn't because she was confident in Xiaoqing and Jiyu Shuxing, but because she knew that no matter what the process was, Su Rui would let her win at the end. No choice. Her man was just that good. Other people couldn't be envious tilde. You've seen through all of this. Su Wn turned sideways and leaned on Su Rui's arm. Before entering the mission, Yishin asked about our relationship. I think that in order to prevent any accidents, she might seal all the memories about you in my mind during the trial. Su Rui, I'm actually a bit scared. Scared of what? Scared that you'll win? Or scared that you'll lose to me? Su Rui lowered his eyes and glanced at Su Wan. He really rarely saw Su Wan being so frightened and apprehensive. I don't know. I'm just a bit scared. Su Wan shook her head and subconsciously grabbed Su Rui's arm. You've already done too much for me. These points aren't much. I want to wait until you have enough points. After the trial ends, let's leave the mission. Leave this kind of life. Walk your own path and live your own life. Don't change others anymore and don't need others to change you either. Okay. Su Rui raised his hand and caressed Su Wan's long hair gently. Su Wan, you have to remember, if one day I don't remember you and you don't remember me, as long as we can still meet in the vast sea of people, we will still love each other. This is destined. You can't escape. Su Rui raised his hand and stroked Su Wan's long hair. Fated. I love you. After a while, he slowly said, Ching, don't mess around like this in the future, okay? I'll worry about you. Xiao Qing was speechless. Wait, there's too much information in your words, it makes me nervous old Gu. You, don't tell me, you like me? Xiao Qing felt his voice trembling. Damn. I'm a man. It was a man. Important things must be said 3 times like it. Jiu Shuxing used to think that the feeling he had towards Yarou Shanshan overseas was liking her. He liked Yarou Shanshan. He liked the feeling of being in sync with her. He liked her elegance, wisdom, and beauty. Yeah, that was liking her. He was disappointed when he found out that Yarou Shanshan had a boyfriend. That was the first time he drank alcohol. He drank 1 bottle and got drunk for the entire night. But the next day, Jiu Shuxing could calmly call Yarou Shanshan to wish her well. Because at that time, he realized that his liking towards Yarou Shanshan was just liking her. That kind of liking wasn't love. People would like different types of people in different environments. But there might only be one person that you can't forget for 10,000 years. Jiu Shuxing never knew what love was like. But when he saw Xiao Qing in such a sorry state, he felt his heart ache. The pain made it hard for him to breathe. Maybe this was love. Xiao Qing, I love you. Jiu Shuxing suddenly understood his feelings. He broke his habits for her again and again because he loved her. Holy shit. Hearing Jiu Shuxing's words, Xiao Qing immediately took a few steps back and looked at him vigilantly. You, don't come over. I don't like you. I like women. Jiu Shuxing was speechless. Yarou Shanshan was speechless. Right. Yang Mubai told him that it was normal for women to like women. This wasn't an illness. This was the freedom of love. Right. That's it. Xiao Qing couldn't help but straighten his back. Old Jiu, you're a doctor. You should understand that love doesn't differentiate between countries, but sexual orientation can't be forced. Fine. You're actually really handsome, cool, and amazing, but the problem is that you're not a woman. If I ever stop liking women and start liking men, then I'll definitely consider you first. Do you understand after saying so much? Mn Jiu Shuxing answered, understood. Let's go back. Xiao Qing, that's it? I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, where did it go? As expected, I don't understand the world of a scholar. Okay. Xiao Qing smiled awkwardly. He tugged at Jiu Shuxing's jacket on his shoulders. Although it was a bit awkward, thinking that his clothes were affecting the city's appearance, Xiao Qing slowly walked out. When he passed by Yarou Shanshan, he didn't forget to smile faintly at her. Yarou Shanshan was speechless. Let me calm down. My mind is a bit messy. Everyone hurriedly finished eating. When they parted at the entrance of the restaurant, Xiao Qing had already tidied himself up. He handed Jiu Shuxing's jacket to him. Thank you, old Jiu. Jiyu Shuxing silently took the jacket and then put it back on without a care. Su Wan was speechless. Therefore, the male lead truly loved the female lead. What happened to the male lead's obsession with cleanliness? His clothes were so dirty. Are you blind? On the way back, Xiao Qing kept getting distracted as he drove. He almost ran a red light twice. Thankfully, Su Rui had been sitting in the front passenger seat the entire time, preventing the tragedy from happening. Do you want to get into a car accident again? Hearing Su Rui's voice, Xiao Qing stepped on the brakes. Xiao Bai, what do you think I've done? Wasn't it just a car accident? Why did my entire life change after I woke up? Little Bai, do you think that the heavens are playing with me? Screw you. It's good enough that you're still alive. What bike do you want? Su Rui couldn't help but pat Xiao Qing's head. Wake up. Living well is more important than anything else. The past is the past. It'll pass. Xiao Qing, you need to remember that you're Xiao Qing. Xiao Qing, right. His Xiao Qing. No, his Xiao Qing. Xiao Qing realized that he was a woman when he was teased by a group of strangers in the restaurant's private room. No matter how much he didn't want to admit it, he was a woman physically. Maybe Little Bai was right. Xiao Qing was dead. He died in the car accident. The person who survived was called Xiao Qing. Chapter 328. After signing an agreement with the manufacturer, Su Rui, Su Wan, and Xiao Qing started renovating the branded bag store that Su Rui, Su Wan, and Xiao Qing created together. When they were registering the brand, Su Wan originally planned on using a high-end and trendy name, but Xiao Qing insisted on using a Chinese style. Mu Qing and Xiong Wan. This name was filled with a strong artistic aura. It didn't match their brand at all, but it had their names on it. On the day of the store's opening, the entire Jolene Street was really lively. The surrounding merchants all came to congratulate them. Even Jiyu Shuxing took a leave of absence to come and support them. Speaking of which, ever since the awkward confession in the restaurant that day, Jiyu Shuxing had acted as if nothing had happened. He did what he was supposed to do and would visit the Xiao family when he had nothing to do. He even helped the three of them study the design of the shop together. Even Su Rui was surprised by his behavior. Thankfully, Xiao Qing didn't feel awkward facing Jiyu Shuxing anymore. There was even one time when the four of them went out to eat and Xiao Qing got drunk. He put his arm around Jiyu Shuxing's shoulder and said, "Old Jiyu, I like Yao Shanshan too, but she likes you. Are we going to be brothers or love rivals?" Jiyu Shuxing was speechless. "You're drunk." Jiyu Shuxing silently removed Xiao Qing's hand from his shoulder. "Nonsense. I'm not drunk. I'm sober. I know you're a man." "Right, a man." As he spoke, Xiao Qing moved closer to Jiyu Shuxing. "Wretch." In the end, Miss Xiao vomited all over Dr. Jiyu. Su Wan watched silently as Jiyu Shuxing wiped Xiao Qing's clothes. Male lead, has your bottom line been refreshed again? This was a sad story. For the first time, Su Wan couldn't stand it anymore. Damn. I'm in charge of breaking up the CP, but why do I feel so stifled looking at you guys? Wife. At this time, Su Rui held Su Wan's waist with one hand and softly said in her ear, "Look at how drunk Xiao Qing is. Let Jiyu Shuxing bring him home." Su Wan was speechless. "General Su, didn't you say to let nature take its course? Plus, the one drunk was Xiao Qing, not Jiyu Shuxing. Damn, Dr. Jiyu doesn't drink. If I can get him drunk, that would be perfect." Su Wan and Su Rui glanced at each other. The two were about to get up when they saw Jiyu Shuxing helping the drunk Xiao Qing up. "You guys can go back. I'll take him home." "Ah." Seeing that Jiyu Shuxing was taking Xiao Qing away, Su Wan shrugged. "Amen. Let nature take its course. I'll bet 50 cents that old Jiyu will definitely be able to bring the beauty home. Su Rui. Wife, you are so rich. Let's go home." Su Rui pulled Su Wan and the two of them strolled home. This place wasn't far from Su Wan's rented apartment. Although Xiao Qing had accepted his new identity as a woman and told Jiyu Shuxing everything, Neither of them received the notification that the mission had been completed or failed. In other words, there were still a lot of possibilities in Xiaoqing's future. 1 year later, Mu Qing Xiongwan's small brand of bags had a certain reputation and market share in a city. In this year, Su Rui and Su Wan had signed agency agreements with many merchants on Jolene Street. Their own brand stores had also opened on the streets and alleys of a city. Starting from a small store, this was the path to success for a small character. When Su Rui planned on expanding the chain stores outside of a city, something happened to Xiao family. This was the same as the original plot. Xiaoqing's father had left the Xiao family's businesses. His father had passed away early, so the family's businesses were left to Xiaoqing's mother, Jiang Minute, to manage. But now, Xiaoqing's uncles had allied with outsiders to take over all of Xiao family's businesses. This was something they had planned for a long time, just to catch Jiang Minute unprepared. Now that the company was in danger and seeing that her late husband's businesses were about to be destroyed in her hands, Jiang Min's old illness relapsed and she was hospitalized. After Jiang Minute was hospitalized, Xiao family's situation worsened. Back when Su Rui and Su Wan opened the chain stores, Xiaoqing had provided all the funds. Now that something big had happened to his family, Su Wan and Su Rui discussed it and decided to sell the stores. This way, they could help Xiaoqing take back Xiao family's businesses with the funds. Xiaoqing shook his head a bit bitterly after knowing their plans. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Once something happened to Xiao family, all the business partners that he had a good relationship with turned against him. Now that his family was empty, even if Su Rui and Su Wan sold the stores, what could they do with the millions? Xiaoqing, do you trust me? Seeing Xiaoqing's depressed mood, Su Wan couldn't help but walk in front of him and stare into his eyes. Trust me. I will use this money to help you take back Xiao family. Financial warfare was definitely Su Wan's forte. Xiao Wan? Xiaoqing looked at Su Wan. He couldn't remember what Su Wan looked like in the past. Right. She had changed. Everyone was changing. But everyone was slowly getting better. Their days would get better and better. I trust you. Xiaoqing held Su Wan's hands tightly. Xiao Wan, I'll leave the company to you and Xiao Bai. I trust you guys. Don't worry. Su Rui also couldn't help but say, stay in the hospital and take care of Aunt Jiang. Once she's discharged, get ready to celebrate. Okay. City A Hospital. Jiyu Shuxing finished a day of surgeries. He hurriedly ate and then came to the inpatient department. Jiang Min's ward was really quiet. Jiang Minute had just gotten an 4 drip and was asleep. Xiaoqing sat by the bed, his expression terrible. Hearing the sound of the door opening, Xiaoqing subconsciously turned to look at Jiyu Shuxing's emotionless eyes. Old Jiyu, you're here. How's Aunt Jiang? Pretty good. Xiaoqing forced a smile at Jiyu Shuxing. Seeing his tired and haggard expression, Jiyu Shuxing couldn't help but look down. I'm resting tomorrow. I'll take care of her here tonight. Go home and rest. Otherwise, you won't be able to take it. I'm fine. Xiaoqing stood up and glanced at Jiyu Shuxing. Do you have a cigarette? I want to go out and smoke. It's best if you don't smoke. Jiyu Shuxing walked in front of Xiaoqing and took out a piece of chocolate from his white coat. Eat this. Xiaoqing was speechless. So Dr. Jiyu, are you cool on the outside? Why do you have chocolate in your pocket every day? Xiaoqing took the chocolate hesitantly. At this time, Jiyu Shuxing suddenly grabbed his fingertips and took out a check from his other pocket, placing it in Xiaoqing's palm. My mom told me to bring this to you. This is all she has. Xiaoqing looked down and saw the 8 digits on the check. He froze. Only Aunt Gu's? Hearing Xiaoqing's question, Jiyu Shuxing hesitated. There's mine too. It's just a token of my appreciation. He wouldn't say that he took out all of his assets for her. There was no need for that. Old Jiyu, this isn't all of your assets, right? Xiaoqing suddenly asked half-jokingly. Jiyu Shuxing's gaze flickered. Dr. Jiyu, who wasn't good at lying, immediately revealed a flaw. As it turned out, it really was all of his assets. Xiao Qing's hands trembled a bit. Actually, I don't need this much. Just take it. I don't mean anything else. Jiyu Shuxing felt his resistance and immediately smiled warmly at him. Didn't you say that we're brothers? Shouldn't brothers go through fire and water for each other? What Yang Mubai and Su Wn can do for you, I can too. Just treat it as help between brothers. He didn't need to feel burdened. Old Jiyu, you're really… Xiao Qing bit his lips and held the check in his hands. Really? You're so nice. What if I fall in love with you one day? Hearing Xiao Qing's words, Jiyu Shuxing lifted his brows and revealed a smile that wasn't a smile. If that day really comes, if I'm not married and if you're not married, we'll make do? Xiao Qing froze and then couldn't help but smile and nod. Chapter 329. 2 years later, after Xiao family got through the crisis safely, Xiao Qing entered the Xiao family and became the general manager of the company. As for Su Rui and Su Wan, they didn't stay in the Xiao Corporation. Instead, they returned to Jolene Street and started from the beginning. Ever since he entered the business world, Xiao Qing came into contact with a completely unfamiliar world. Thankfully, he had his mother's support as well as Su Rui and Su Wan's help. In the business world, Xiao Qing finally stabilized his position as the general manager. Right now, Xiao Qing was a new successful woman in a city's business world. Many people even knew that this successful woman seemed to like beautiful women. Apparently, she had been chasing after another company's vice president, Yarou Shanshan. Yarou Shanshan was speechless at Xiao Qing's persistent pursuit. In the beginning, she was suspicious, but then, she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Now, Yarou Shanshan and Xiao Qing had become best friends who could talk about anything. Shanshan, just be with me. Today, Xiao Qing couldn't help but lean against Yarou Shanshan's body after leaving the beauty salon and arriving at Yarou Shanshan's villa. Feeling the familiar fragrance, Yarou Shanshan narrowed her eyes and pushed Xiao Qing to the wall. Then she pressed herself against him. Xiao Qing, you smell so good. Of course. Do you want to try kissing me? Xiao Qing winked at Yarou Shanshan. Yarou Shanshan really pressed her red lips on Xiao Qing's face. Xiao Qing, do you feel anything? Xiao Qing was speechless. If I really have feelings for you, it doesn't matter if I'm a man or a woman. Yarou Shanshan suddenly smiled, her eyes still locked onto Xiao Qing's. Your eyes tell me that you're hiding a lot of secrets. She also told me that you actually don't have feelings for me. Yarou Shanshan always thought that she was good at reading people. To be honest, she had been overseas for so many years and was open-minded about sexual orientation. If they really had feelings for each other, it didn't matter if they were a man or a woman. But she could feel that Xiao Qing seemed to really like his appearance in the beginning. But that was it. You can't look at a person's appearance forever. You need someone who truly loves you, cares for you, treats you well, and will stand by your side no matter what. That person isn't me. Yarou Shanshan was actually really calm when she said this. She knew someone had been waiting for Xiao Qing for a very long time. Actually, I'm very envious of you. Yarou Shanshan turned around and sighed with a smile. Jiyu Shuxing treats you really well and is infatuated. Don't wait until you lose him to regret it. Xiao Qing, women can't miss out on anything. Yarou Shanshan had missed Jiyu Shuxing, but she had missed him. It turned out that she really couldn't turn back, because that person wouldn't wait for her in the same place. But now, Jiyu Shuxing stood there, waiting for Xiao Qing to turn around. As long as she is willing, she will find that the best has been standing there waiting for her, never wavering. This was what Yarou Shanshan envied the most. Hearing Yarou Shanshan's words, Xiao Qing froze. In the past few years, her feelings were actually empty. She firmly believed that she still liked women. She persistently pursued Yarou Shanshan, but in the end, the two of them became best friends. Perhaps he had been a woman for too long that Xiao Qing even started to forget that he used to be a man. In the beginning, he would scream in panic when he saw blood. Now, He could easily distinguish the brands and quality of women's personal products. In the beginning, he didn't know how to wear underwear. Now, he could wear the latest styles of major brands to fill his wardrobe. In the beginning, he couldn't walk in high heels. Now, he could walk to work in high heels every day. In the past few years, he had been constantly changing. After leaving Yarrow Shanshan's home, Xiaoqing didn't drive. He walked on the streets aimlessly. Unknowingly, he came to Su Wan's home. Sister Xiaoqing, Su Wan and Su Rui had just returned from Jolene Street. The two were covered in dust and they were still holding the fresh vegetables they bought from the market. Hearing Su Wan's voice, Xiaoqing snapped out of his trance. You guys came back really early today. The store isn't busy today. Let's go upstairs. At night, Su Wan busied herself in the kitchen. Xiaoqing looked at the apartment that hadn't changed much compared to 3 years ago. He couldn't help but ask Su Rui, with your abilities, it's a waste of your talents to open a small store in the wholesale market. As long as you guys want to, you can become millionaires in minutes. Now that Xiaoqing had stepped into the business world, he had enough understanding of finance. Only then did he know how Su Wan and Su Rui had saved his company back then. That was the most classic battle in a city's business world. Even now, there were still many headhunting companies trying to find out about them. You can't earn enough money. Su Rui handed Xiaoqing a can of beer. Life is short. If you can fight with the person you love, then all of your days will be meaningful. People in the business world were deceiving each other and the office was filled with smoke. It really was better for the two of them to open a store and live happily ever after. Saying this, Su Rui sat on the other side of the sofa and looked at Xiaoqing. Xiaoqing, what about you? Have you thought about the future? Future, Xiaoqing froze. I don't know. I don't know what I should do in the future. If you meet a good man, then marry him. At this time, Su Wan walked out of the kitchen with hot dishes. She said while walking, back then, I never thought that I would be together with Mubai. Life is like this. It's full of unknowns and unpredictability. Sister Xiaoqing, if you meet a good man, then you have to grab hold of him. Don't be overcautious and lose the opportunity. Xiaoqing smiled in relief hearing Su Wan's words. Speaking of the past, it did feel like a dream. In the end, was everything about Xiaoqing a dream or was the current Xiaoqing a dream? Today, Xiaoqing got drunk again. Seeing Xiaoqing lying on the table unresponsive, Su Wan called Jiyu Shuxing without hesitation. By the time Jiyu Shuxing came to the apartment, Xiaoqing had fallen asleep on the table. Jiyu Shuxing couldn't help but smile seeing him lying there without a care for his image. As expected, after all these years, she was still the same. How could he feel at ease without him taking care of her? Old Jiyu, I'll leave Xiaoqing to you. Su Wan and Su Rui sighed in relief after handing Xiaoqing over to Jiyu Shuxing. The next morning, before Su Wan even woke up, she heard the news that the mission had failed from the headquarters. MN failed. For the first time, she felt that failure was a happy thing. Su Wan slowly turned her body over and leaned into Su Rui's embrace. The two people hugged each other and fell into a deep sleep again. At this time, Jiyu family. Jiyu Shuxing, come out. I promise I won't beat you to death. Huala. The bathroom door was pushed open. Jiyu Shuxing walked out wearing a white towel while drying his hair. Ching, you're awake? Awake my ass. You pervert. You're despicable and shameless. Despicable and lowly. What did you do to me? Xiaoqing sat on the bed and used the blanket to cover his naked body. He glared at Jiyu Shuxing angrily. This is my first time. First time. First time in both my past and present lives. How could I just pass by like that? I didn't feel anything at all. This didn't make sense. This wasn't written in the erotic novels. Female lead, where's your moral integrity? Jiyu Shuxing immediately coughed hearing Xiaoqing's words, his expression changing. Last night actually, I didn't do anything. I don't care. Anyways, you need to be responsible for me in the future. Xiaoqing angrily interrupted Jiyu Shuxing's words. Then he threw a pillow at Jiyu Shuxing. You, turn around. I'm going to change. Jiyu Shuxing was speechless. From now on, old Jiyu became his husband. Chapter 330. In November, Liao City was covered in white snow and the north wind whistled. City center, Yin family's courtyard. Shunning wore a thick cotton-padded jacket and walked out of the kitchen. She jogged the entire way while holding a warm food box in her arms. Seeing her energetic appearance, the maids in the inner courtyard couldn't help but whisper. It was the coldest time of the year and Shunning went to make soup for the eldest madam again. Eldest madam probably wouldn't be able to make it through the winter. The servant girls of the Yin estate sighed endlessly when they spoke of this woman with a bitter life. The one in the courtyard was the eldest miss of Su family's residence. She had studied abroad before and learned from abroad. In the end, she still ended up like this. How many women had a good time in the Yin residence? Had a good time? Sigh. Don't just Yin family's courtyard. Didn't the entire Liao City belong to the Yin family? Ahem. Shunning had just returned to the side courtyard when she heard coughing coming from inside. Eldest madam. Shunning couldn't help but speed up, running into the room in a few steps. The stove was still burning. On the pear wood carved bed, a woman wearing a blue chipao was bending over and coughing non-stop. Eldest madam, are you okay? The soup is here. Drink a few mouthfuls and your throat will feel better. Shunning carefully patted the woman's back and then opened the food box, revealing the nourishing soup that was still steaming. Put it down. Su Wan's throat was a bit hoarse. She looked up at her personal maid Shunning and then waved at her. Shunning, come over. Yes. Shunning carefully and respectfully walked over to Su Wan. Su Wan leaned over and whispered a few words in Shunning's ears. Shunning's expression immediately turned terrified. Eldest madam, this, sure. Su Wan shook her head at Shunning. Do as I say. Don't let the eldest madam find out. If she does, don't admit that I told you to buy it. Remember. This servant remembers. Yes. Su Wan didn't worry about Shunning. After all, the original owner brought her out of the Su family. Shunning, it's been hard on you these 2 years. Don't worry. The bitter days will pass. I won't let the Yin family's people off, especially the women in the backyard. Seeing the ruthlessness in Su Wan's eyes, Shunning froze. But soon, she couldn't help but worry for Su Wan. Eldest madam, your body, it's fine. I have my ways. You can leave now. Yes. Shunning left worriedly. Su Wan sat on the bed and looked at the hot soup on the table. She couldn't help but sneer. Eldest young mistress is weak and sickly. Sick my ass. He was obviously poisoned by someone. Speaking of Yin family's first madam, she was definitely a ruthless person. She actually wanted to use this method to poison the original owner. If Su Wan didn't enter the mission at this time, the original owner would have definitely died before New Year's Eve. Hey, what kind of enmity did he have? Come to think of it, the original owner of this body had never done anything evil, but his entire life was ruined in the Yin family's mansion. The Yin family had millions of soldiers and controlled the entirety of Liao City and a few small cities nearby. The eldest master of the Yin family, Yin Shun, was the ruler of Liao City. Everyone called him General Yin. As for the second master of the Yin family, Yin Chungmo, he was in his early 30s but he was already the president of the entire North Chamber of Commerce. He was extremely wealthy. As for the third master of the Yin family, he was the youngest out of the 3 brothers and also the one who didn't do proper work. Ever since he was young, he was proficient in eating, drinking, whoring, and gambling. Because he had 2 powerful and wealthy brothers, the third master of the Yin family, Yin Mingya, could be said to be the most famous hedonistic son of the entire Liao City. The male lead of this world was called Yin Beige. He was General Yin Shun's second legitimate son. The people of Liao City called him General Yin. Yin Beige and the original body, Su Wan, got to know each other when she was studying abroad. The two fell in love with each other. When they were 18, The two returned to the country and planned on getting married. But after returning, Yin Beige was called by his father, Yin Shun, to the frontline military camp to train. However, the Su family was kept in the dark. They prepared Su Wan's dowry according to the agreed time and happily married their daughter into the Su family. Su Wan's father, Yin Beiyu, wasn't the young and promising Yin Beige but Yin Shun's eldest son, Yin Beiyu. Who in the entire Liao city didn't know that the general's eldest son was bedridden and on the verge of death? Su family wanted to break off the marriage, but this was Liao city. This was a place where the Yin family could cover the sky with one hand. How could they be allowed to act rashly? Therefore, that night, the original owner, Su Wan, was tied up and brought into the bridal room for Master Yin. Thankfully, Yin Beiyu was a reasonable person. Although he was sick, he was a gentle man. He knew that Su Wan and his brother loved each other, so he agreed to work with her to deceive his mother. The two never consummated their marriage, but they acted like a loving couple in front of others. For a moment, they really tricked the eldest madam, who knew that the good times didn't last long. Not long after, Yin Beiyu's illness worsened. Su Wan was grateful for his kindness, so she took care of him every day. But at this time, Yin Beige returned from the front line. Finding out that his lover married his brother and they were a loving couple, the male lead suffered a huge blow. That's right. The dignified general's woman was stolen and the person who stole his lover was his brother. What was this? The demonic male lead couldn't accept this. He couldn't accept this reality, nor could he forgive this fickle woman. Therefore, on a dark and windy night, Yin Beiyu barged into Su Wan's room drunk and wanted to force himself on her. The original owner didn't think that not only did her lover not believe her, he even wanted to humiliate her. Naturally, she struggled and screamed with all her might. Her voice startled Yin Beiyu, who was on the sickbed. Seeing his brother's actions, Yin Beiyu naturally wanted to help Su Wan. In the end, the three of them pulled and the sickly Yin Beiyu was pushed over. His head hit the corner of the table and he died. Alright, this was really a ridiculous story. After Yin Beiyu died, the eldest madam thought that Su Wan's behavior was improper. She seduced her brother-in-law and caused her husband's death. What kind of logic is this? Therefore, the eldest madam hated Su Wan. On the other hand, the male lead accidentally caused his brother's death. This made him feel guilty. From then on, he decided to treat Su Wan as his most respected sister-in-law and take good care of her. You sure changed quickly, because Yin Beiyu took special care of Su Wan. The eldest madam thought that Su Wan still had ambitions for her second son. Back then, it was the eldest madam, Yarrow Baiqian, who came up with the idea of letting Su Wan marry Yin Beiyu. Because she had discussed it with her brother, she wanted her niece, Yarrow Ruofeng, to marry into the Yin family and become the general's wife. How could she let another woman be her daughter-in-law? Half a year after Yin Beiyu's death, Yin Beiyu listened to his parents' arrangements and married the eldest miss of the Yarrow family, who was also his cousin, Yarrow Ruofeng. Yarrow Ruofeng had admired Yin Beiyu since she was young. Naturally, she was obedient to him after they got married. Unfortunately, Yin Beiyu, who felt that he had suffered emotional trauma, didn't like his lovely wife. Chapter 331. As this world's cannon fodder, the original body, Su Wan, had passed away before New Year's Eve. The day she left, it was snowing heavily. Yin Beige rushed back from the military camp, but he only managed to see Su Wan one last time. On her deathbed, Su Wan revealed her feelings to Yin Beige once again. Yin Beige finally believed that she never betrayed him. She had always loved him from the bottom of her heart. Unfortunately, everything was too late. After Su Wan's death, Yin Beige couldn't recover from the setback. During a battle with bandits, Yin Beige was heavily injured because he was distracted and fell into the sea. Yin Beige was saved by the innocent and kind fisherwoman, Guan Li. Under Guan Li's meticulous care, Yin Beige's injuries gradually got better. However, because his head was hit, he lost most of his memories. He didn't remember his identity nor did he remember other people. He only remembered that there was a beautiful figure in his mind that he couldn't get rid of. That figure was blurry. It was a girl's figure, and that girl could sing a really nice song. Yin Beige muddleheadedly stayed in the fishing village until one night, when he woke up in the middle of the night and heard that familiar song. Yin Beige followed the voice and walked over in a daze. He saw a girl singing softly by the sea under the bright moonlight. That day, Guan Li wore a thin white gown and her black hair fluttered. She stared at the sea and sang quietly. Her voice was filled with sorrow. It was this song. Yin Beige stared at Guan Li's back in a daze. Her figure could actually gradually overlap with the figure in his heart. It really resembled her. Was it her? Yin Beige didn't know if Guan Li and the girl in his mind were the same person, but from that moment onwards, Guan Li's position in his heart was different from others. That's right. Guan Li was the female lead. In reality, she was Su Wan's half-sister. Back then, Su Wan's birth mother, Tian Menghua, was also born in this small fishing village. At that time, she, her husband, and their newborn daughter, Guang Li, lived in poverty. Until one day, Su family's fleet came here to collect goods. Master Su fell in love with Tian Menghua at first sight. Tian Menghua, who yearned for the big city and a wealthy life, left the small fishing village. She abandoned her husband and daughter and became Madame Su. Not long after, she gave birth to Master Su. When Su Wan was a child, Tian Menghua would occasionally think of her other daughter. When she missed her, Tian Menghua would sing the folk song she learned in the small fishing village. Later on, Su Wan naturally also learned this song. Especially after Tian Menghua passed away due to depression, Su Wan would hum this folk song when she was alone in a foreign country. At that time, Yin Beige often heard Su Wan sing this song, so he naturally had a deep impression of it. Therefore, as a cannon fodder, Su Wan's existence and death was only to help the male lead and female lead. 2 months later, Yin Beige was found and forcefully taken away by the Yin family. Because Yin Beige's identity was exposed, after he left, the entire fishing village was massacred by bandits. Guang Li escaped death. She had always thought that Yin Beige's people killed the people in the village. Therefore, she escaped to Liao City and mixed into the Yin family to be a servant girl, wanting to assassinate Yin Beige for revenge. Right now, Yin Beige had recovered his memory. After recovering his memory, he seemed to have forgotten about Guang Li's existence. Until one time, Yin Beige got drunk during a banquet at the Yin residence. Guang Li took the chance to assassinate him, but Yin Beige's adjutant, Lu Anbo, caught her on the spot. The general and madam were naturally furious about Guang Li's assassination. According to the rules of the general's residence, she should be executed. But right now, Yin Beige suddenly said that he liked Guang Li and wanted to marry her as a concubine. That's right. This was the annual melodramatic drama of a sadomasochistic relationship that took place in the Yin family's mansion. In this drama, other than the glorious cannon fodder Yin Beiyu and Su Wan, everyone else more or less played an important role. Yin family's madams fought in the dark, Yarrow Ruofeng and Guang Li fought each other in love, the 3 masters of the Yin family fought for power, and Guang Li and Yin Beige's love-hate relationship. In short, this drama was really interesting. Plus, there were 2 important male supporting characters in this world. One was Yin Beige's adjutant, Lu Anbo. He fell in love with Guang Li at first sight. He was a warm and affectionate male supporting character. Lu Anbo had always liked Guang Li and helped her silently. In the end, he even lost his life for her and Yin Beige. As for the other male supporting character, it was Yin family's hedonistic third master, Yin Mingya. Other than being a hedonistic son, Yin Mingya was also an evil and crazy maniac. When Guang Li first entered the Yin family, he often teased her. Facing third master Yin's teasing, everyone else silently endured it. Only Guang Li dared to resist. The more she resisted, the more interested third master Yin was. After doing this many times, third master Yin actually felt like he found his true love. Thus, the hedonistic young master of a generation became a bitter supporting male character. Su Wan rubbed her aching head. Right now, Yin Beige was taking Lu Anbo to fight against the bandits outside the city. He wouldn't be able to come back anytime soon. Therefore, if Su Rui was Lu Anbua, then she would have to wait a few days for him. But what if Su Rui was Third Master Yin? Nani? This really became the ethical drama of the year. Eldest Madam. Su Wan was thinking when Shunning, who she ordered to leave not long ago, suddenly hurried back to the room. Shunning, why did you come back so quickly? Su Wan looked at Shunning, a bit surprised. She had just ordered Shunning to go to the great medical workshop next door to get medicine for her. This girl came back too quickly, huh? After all, Yin residence was really big. As the widowed eldest madam, Su Wan could only stay in the side courtyard. It took a long time to walk from the side courtyard to the back door of Yin residence. Eldest madam, Third Master is here. Shunning's tone was filled with endless fear right now. Originally, she had planned on leaving through the back door according to Su Wan's orders. Who knew that she would see the gloomy Third Master Yin before she even walked out of the back courtyard? Nani? Third Master, you're already perverted and scary enough when you don't look gloomy usually. You're about to make people pee in their pants right now, okay? Yin Residence's maids weren't afraid of the eldest madam or the second madam. It was the Third Master Yin who hadn't gotten married yet. Not only was the Third Master famous for being a playboy in Liao City, but he also had many perverted tricks up his sleeves. Throughout the year, he had defiled and forced dozens of innocent girls to death. In short, once the Third Master left the street, you wouldn't even see a hen on the entire street. In Liao City, every family with a daughter would guard against fire, theft, and the Third Master day and night. After Shunning married into the Yin family, due to Su Wan's special identity, the two had been living in the side courtyard. Therefore, she rarely saw the Third Master. Take me to see the eldest madam. At that time, Third Master didn't even look up and just ordered coldly. Hearing Yin Mingya's words, Shunning's legs went soft. But thinking that this was the Yin family and her young mistress was the Yin family's eldest young mistress, with the second young master's help, even if this Third Master did something stupid, he couldn't do anything to her, right? Therefore, Shunning obediently returned to the side courtyard. At this time, Shunning entered the room and immediately reported to Su Wan in a panic. Before she finished speaking, an extremely cold voice came from behind her. Get out. Shunning was speechless. Eldest madam, save me, hair. Chapter 332. After Shunning left, only Su Wan and Yin Mingya wearing a blue gown were left in the warm room. Looking at the familiar eyebrows of the man in front of her and his gloomy expression, Su Wan couldn't help but smile again. Her beautiful eyes flashed and her lips carried a hint of gloating. Third uncle? Su Rui was speechless. Uncle my ass. That's right. Su Rui was Third Master Yin. The Third Master Yin who made all the ladies in Liao City change their expressions. Seeing Su Wan's teasing expression, Su Rui couldn't help but take a step forward. He leaned over and quietly stuck to Su Wan. Wife, don't be naughty. Cough, cough, cough. Su Wan wanted to smile but then she started coughing violently. In this era, this cough was considered an inauspicious disease and an incurable disease. But in reality, Su Wan wasn't sick. She was just poisoned by a chronic poison. This poison would slowly corrode her internal organs. Although she wasn't beyond cure, the poison had already invaded her lungs, causing her to cough for a long time. Hearing her coughing, Su Rui's sharp gaze immediately darkened. He lifted his hand and pressed Su Wan's acupuncture point. His internal energy flowed into Su Wan's body bit by bit. Feeling that Su Rui was detoxifying her, Su Wan immediately closed her eyes, held her breath, and slowly let the qi in her body circulate smoothly. Not long after, her pale face finally had a trace of color. At this time, Shunning's anxious voice rang from outside. First madam, this way please. Yarrow Baiqian was here. Hearing Shunning's voice, Su Wan suddenly opened her eyes. Murderous intent flashed through her eyes. The next moment. Third uncle. Su Wan suddenly grabbed Su Rui's sleeves, her expression bitter. She looked up at the man by the bed helplessly. Third uncle, Xiao Wan is begging you. I'm begging you. Let Shunning go. I don't have much time left. She's the only one who can talk to me. I brought her from the Su family. She's not from the Yin family. If third uncle likes her, Xiao Wan can help you find someone prettier than Shunning. The moment Yarrow Baiqian entered, she heard Su Wan begging Yin Mingya. The Yin family's courtyard was huge, but every single blade of grass and tree in the courtyard was under Yarrow Baiqian's control. When Yin Mingya appeared, someone reported to Yarrow Baiqian. Yarrow Baiqian looked down on her brother-in-law, but she couldn't do anything about it. Every time he appeared, he would cause chaos in the house. Yarrow Baiqian paid attention to this third master. Knowing that Yin Mingya went straight to Su Wan's room, Yarrow Baiqian couldn't sit still anymore. In Yarrow Baiqian's eyes, Su Wan was a vixen. Her eldest son died because of her. Her second son and his wife didn't get along because of her. Now, even the disappointing third master ran into her room. Hence, after Yarrow Baiqian received the news, she immediately brought her personal maid, Zhenlan, to the side courtyard in a hurry. Ahem. The moment they entered the room, Yarrow Baiqian coughed subconsciously. Mother. Seeing Yarrow Baiqian's dignified figure, Su Wan immediately retracted her hands nervously and struggled to get off the bed. Okay. You don't have to come down and greet me with your current condition. Seeing Su Wan's sickly face, as well as the fear and respect in her eyes, Yarrow Baiqian waved her hands magnanimously. She didn't have much time left anyways. Yarrow Baiqian didn't want to argue with Su Wan. Yo, sister-in-law's here. Su Rui turned his head and glanced at Yarrow Baiqian and Zhenlan. Yarrow Baiqian felt like she was being stared at by a venomous snake after his glance. This was definitely a misconception. Yarrow Baiqian focused. When she looked at him again, she saw him smiling at Zhenlan. I haven't seen you for a while. Sister Zhenlan has gotten prettier. Although Zhenlan was Yarrow Baiqian's personal maid, she was only 27 in reality. She was only 1 year older than Yin Mingya. Yarrow Baiqian, the mistress of the household, naturally had to be outstanding in all aspects. Not only was Zhenlan efficient, but she also knew how to read people's expressions. She was also good at needlework. Most importantly, she had a beautiful face. Speaking of which, this was also Yarrow Baiqian's most brilliant point. She placed the most capable and beautiful servant girl in the residence by her side to serve her. This way, she didn't need to worry about her man being seduced by those useless maids. A trace of fear flashed through Zhenlan's face, but she quickly calmed down. Thank you, Third Master, for your compliment. Third Master, you've become more and more handsome lately. Oh. Su Rui lifted his brows. Sister Zhenlan, you sure have a sweet mouth. No wonder brother, cough, sister-in-law really trusts you. I'm afraid. Zhenlan's expression turned even uglier. She subconsciously clenched her fists and lowered her head, not daring to meet the third master's gaze. Heh. Yarrow Baiqian smiled faintly. Third brother, although it's broad daylight, Xiao Wan is Beiyue's widow after all. People will gossip if you stay here for too long. If there's nothing special, you shouldn't come to this side courtyard in the future. Xiao Wan's body is weak and she's seriously ill. If she accidentally spreads her illness to you, it'll be troublesome. Sister-in-law, you're right. Actually, I'm here today. Su Rui's gaze shifted and he looked at Yarrow Baiqian. I really have good intentions. I'm here to treat Xiao Wan's illness. You. Yin Mingya knew how to treat illnesses. What kind of joke was this? Yarrow Baiqian wanted to say something, but Su Rui didn't give her the chance. Of course, I naturally don't know how to treat illnesses, but I recently got to know a foreign doctor, Mr. Smith. He's a doctor from the church. I heard that he's really good and many tuberculosis patients were cured by him. I think that since Xiao Wan is so young and the Yin family can afford it, why don't we ask Mr. Smith to treat Xiao Wan? Sister-in-law, what do you think? Nonsense. Yarrow Baiqian panicked hearing Su Rui's words, but she still put on a righteous expression. Those foreigners aren't reliable at all. They want to cut open people's stomachs at the slightest provocation. People who aren't of the same race must have different intentions. Third brother, how can you believe what they say? Plus, your elder brother hates dealing with foreigners. Mingya, don't ever mention this again. Saying this, Yarrow Baiqian flung her sleeves angrily. Keep acting. Su Rui sneered inside. You're clearly afraid that people will find out the real reason why Su Wan is sick. What's the point of acting so much? Although he hated Yarrow Baiqian to the bone, Su Rui still revealed a knowing expression. Sister-in-law, you're right. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first. Saying this, Su Rui walked outside in large strides. When he passed by Zhenlan, he winked at her. When he passed by Shunning, he lifted his brows, seemingly wanting to touch Shunning's face. The girl was so scared that she immediately fell to the ground. Ha ha! Seeing this, Su Rui seemed to be in a great mood. He laughed and walked out. After his figure disappeared, Su Wan looked hopefully at Yarrow Baiqian. Mother, Xiao Wan won't be able to live for long. Shunning, I know what I'm doing. Rest well. Chapter 333. After Yarrow Baiqian left with Zhenlan, Shunning stumbled and ran to Su Wan's bedside. Her lips trembled as she looked at Su Wan in panic. Eldest madam, you have to save me. I don't want to die. I just want to stay by your side for the rest of my life. Okay, don't be scared. Su Wan patted Shunning's head. I'll help you. Don't worry. You have to remember to do what I tell you to do. I'll naturally ensure your safety. Shunning lifted her face and saw the light in Su Wan's eyes. She bit her lips and slowly nodded. I understand. Eldest madam, don't worry. Okay, then go do what you need to do. Tell others not to disturb me. I'm going to sleep for a bit. Su Wan waved her hands and Shunning immediately left obediently. After she left, Su Wan put down the curtains on the wooden bed and sat cross-legged on the bed, quietly adjusting her breathing. When she was in Luanfeng country, she inherited the Princess Royal's memories. Naturally, she learned Luanfeng country's martial arts. The Princess Royal learned martial arts for women and one of them was to regulate internal breathing. Su Wan wanted to take this opportunity to regulate the aura Su Rui inserted into her body. This would help her slowly recover her broken body. By the time Su Wan opened her eyes again, it was already dusk. Her forehead was covered in sweat, but her body had a bit more strength than before. Lifting the curtains, Su Wan planned on getting off the bed to find a towel to wipe her forehead. At this time, someone suddenly pushed open a small crack in the door. Su Wan narrowed her eyes and pretended not to see anything. She slowly got off the bed. But after a few steps, she lost her footing and fell to the ground. Sister-in-law. At this time, the door was pushed open and a small and thin figure hurriedly ran in. Su Wan lifted her eyes and met a pair of clear and innocent eyes that were abnormally nervous. Sister-in-law, are you okay? The young man's voice was soft and pleasant to listen to. Su Wan smiled weakly at the young man. Beiqiao, why are you here again? If concubine who finds out, she'll whip you again. Yin Beiqiao, the son of Yin Shun's concubine, who are you? He was the third child in the family. Yin Beiqiao's expression darkened. She only knows how to watch the show and beat people up. She's either hitting and scolding me all day. She's not my mother. Sister-in-law, how about you be my mother in the future? Su Wan. Young man, you are really naive. Silly child. Eldest sister-in-law is eldest sister-in-law, and mother is mother. This is different. Saying this, Su Wan used Yin Beiqiao's support to slowly stand up. Sister-in-law is weak and sickly. Your mother doesn't want you to visit me for your own good. She's afraid that I'll pass the sickness to you. Humph. Yin Beiqiao's gaze darkened and he weakly snorted. It's not because of this. She's just afraid of first mother and second mother, and, Yin Beiqiao lifted his childish face and looked at Su Wan angrily. Sister-in-law, Yu Xiu in second sister-in-law's courtyard is the worst. She told everyone that, That you're a vixen who seduced second brother. She also said that eldest brother died because of you. How could she do this? Sister-in-law, you clearly didn't do anything. When eldest brother was still alive, you guys treated me the best. At that time, eldest brother said that you were the best person in the world. But why are they bullying you now that eldest brother isn't here? If eldest brother was still alive, he definitely wouldn't let anyone bully you. Su Wn froze hearing Yin Beichao's words. Yin Beiyu. In the original body's memory, the Yin family's eldest master who passed away was really gentle and considerate. He was also talented. Unfortunately, the heavens were jealous of geniuses. Such a handsome and outstanding man died young. He really was a good man. Unfortunately, the original body didn't meet him first but Yin Beichao. Sigh. Su Wan sighed softly. The world of adults was just so complicated and helpless. In the Yin family, how many people dared to say that they were innocent and had a clear conscience? Other than the original body, the cleanest and most sincere person in this residence was Yin Beichao. He was a 13-year-old child with a pure heart. Yin Beichao's mother, Hu Huiyu, was originally a pillar of an opera troupe in Liao City. Once, she was invited to celebrate Yin Shun's birthday. Yin Shun took a liking to her at first glance. Later on, he naturally left the beauty in the Yin residence to be his concubine. As a warlord in charge of a territory, Yin Shun was a ruthless and temperamental person. He once brought 8 concubines into the Yin family but only Hu Huiyu was still alive and well. She even successfully gave birth to a son for Yin Shun. This son didn't come easily. Although Yin Beichao was a bastard son in the Yin family and wasn't favored, Hu Huiyu had to rely on her son for the rest of her life. The more Hu Huiyu hoped that her son could surpass the First Lady's 2 sons, the more her son failed to live up to her expectations. He couldn't learn anything. Therefore, beating, scolding, and punishing became a common occurrence in Yin Beichao's life. When the original body had just married into the Yin family, there was a time when she saw Hu Huiyu whipping Yin Beichao. The kind-hearted her naturally went up to stop her. Knowing that Hu Huiyu was punishing her son because of his studies, Su Wan suggested that she could tutor Yin Beichao. At that time, Yin Beiyu was still around and Su Wan had a status in the Yin family. Hu Huiyu knew that Su Wan came back from overseas and knew a lot. Naturally, she was happy to let Yin Beichao get closer to her elder brother and sister-in-law. It was also at that time that the original owner and Yin Beichao formed a sibling relationship. Although Su Wan was left to fend for herself in the side courtyard due to Yin Beiyue's death, Yin Beichao would still visit her every now and then. "Beichao, why are you here today?" Su Wan found a handkerchief and wiped her face. Then she turned to look at Yin Beichao behind her. Yin Beichao revealed a hesitant expression. "Sister-in-law, you told me and elder brother about your experiences overseas. Elder brother said that it's a completely different world from here. I want to go out and take a look but my mother won't let me." Yin Beichao's gaze dimmed. "I don't know what to do. If I go find my father and tell him that I want to study overseas like second brother, will he agree?" Study overseas. Hearing Yin Beichao's words, Su Wan looked down. In the plot she knew, Yin Beichao did go overseas and he never came back. Of course, this shouldn't have happened now. It should have happened 3 years later. At that time, Guan Li would have entered the Yin family. The fights in the Yin family's backyard gradually escalated. Second Master Yin Chengmo and General Yin Shun fought for power. Second Master's wife, Biyu Ningshan, and Yarrow Baiqian were also fighting to the death. At this time, Hu Huiyu's affair with an entertainer was exposed. Therefore, Yin Shun sent people to send Yin Beichao out of the country and then drowned Hu Huiyu. Chapter 334. Hearing Yin Beichao's words and knowing that he wanted to study abroad, Su Wan fell silent. "Beichao, don't tell your father about this." Su Wan's thoughts spun and she grabbed Yin Beichao's hand. "Your second brother will be back in a few days. Tell him your thoughts secretly. If he loves you, he'll naturally help you tell him." The doctor won't stop you as long as your second brother says it. Do you understand? Yin Beichao immediately nodded. Understood. Beichao remembers. Thank you, sister-in-law. Silly child. Su Wn patted Yin Beichao's shoulder softly. If you can really go out, then study outside and learn more things. By then, sister-in-law might not even be here anymore, but she'll be watching you from above. Sister-in-law. Yin Beichao's eyes immediately welled up with tears. Sister-in-law, wait for me. I'm going overseas to study medicine. Wait for me to come back. I'll treat you and take care of you until you're old and dead. Seeing the young man's determined gaze, Su Wan couldn't help but smile. Okay, good child. I'll wait for you. Okay. Yin Beichao nodded and then rubbed his eyes. He pestered Su Wan to tell him about things overseas. Up until it was time for dinner did Yin Beichao reluctantly leave. Not long after he left, Shunning came over with a food container for dinner. The piping hot dinner looked, smelled, and tasted great. Maybe Yarrow Baiqian thought that Su Wan was going to die soon, so she didn't purposely take away the food in the courtyard. Her daily food and clothing were the same as the other young madams in the courtyard. Eldest madam. Shunning first put down the food box when she entered the room. Then she moved closer to Su Wan and carefully took out a few packets of medicinal powder. I bought everything and went to a few big pharmacies. No one will suspect anything. Hearing Shunning's words, Su Wan nodded. She didn't tell Shunning to buy them separately, but this girl knew to buy them separately. She was a teachable talent. Thank you for your hard work. Shunning, prepare for a few days. Go to the third master's residence in a few days. What? She widened her eyes and knelt on the ground with a pale face. Eldest madam, eldest miss, this servant followed you from Su family. This servant has always been loyal to you. Eldest miss, please don't disregard this servant. This servant is willing to do anything. Eldest madam, please don't give this servant to third master. The emotional Shunning was a bit incoherent. Seeing how scared she was, Su Wan held her forehead. Okay, Shunning, calm down. Do you think I would harm you? Calm down first. Tonight, you'll stay here on duty. When night falls, you'll naturally understand what I mean. Could it be that eldest young mistress had other intentions? Hearing Su Wan's words, Shunning sat on the ground and carelessly wiped the tears on her face. Seeing that Su Wan was going to get up to eat, she hurriedly got up and helped Su Wan off the bed. The cold night was endless. After midnight, the entire Yin family's courtyard had sunk into silence. Su Wan's room was still lit by the dim oil lamp. Shunning sat by Su Wan's bed and stared at the candlelight, feeling a bit drowsy. At this time, there was a soft sound coming from the door. Shunning blinked and was about to get up when the candlelight in the room suddenly shook violently. Then a tall and slender figure appeared in front of her. This was third master. Shunning covered her mouth in shock. Her eyes were filled with terror. You're here. At this time, Su Wan slowly opened her eyes and carelessly lifted the blanket on her. Shunning, help me up. Oh. Shunning snapped out of her trance and turned to the side, trembling a bit. Just as she was about to help Su Wan up, a pair of large hands grabbed her. Let me do it. Su Rui leaned over and carefully helped Su Wan up. His fingers pressed a few times on her pulse. That handsome and cold face involuntarily softened. Are you feeling better? I'm fine. Su Wan smiled and then turned to look at the flabbergasted Shunning. I don't have much time left. If I'm not here, Shunning definitely won't have a good time in the Yin residence. Third master, ask the general for her to come to your residence tomorrow and be a servant girl. In the future, after you get a wife, you'll be able to use her. Su Rui's gaze flickered and he stared at Shunning. Shunning, are you willing to come to my residence? This servant, Shunning was a bit hesitant. She had never seen the third master be so careful and gentle towards someone. Could it be that the eldest miss and third master? No, the eldest miss wasn't that kind of person, but, while Shunning was hesitating, Su Wan started coughing involuntarily again. Cough, cough, cough. Hearing her coughing, Su Rui's gaze turned cold. He placed his hand on Su Wan's back and continuously inserted his internal force into her body. The room fell silent. Shunning also held her breath and didn't dare to speak. She just stared curiously at Su Rui and Su Wan. Cough. A moment later, Su Wan suddenly spat out a mouthful of black blood. Ah! Shunning immediately exclaimed, "Eldest madam, this blood. Why is it so black? You're not poisoned, are you?" Shunning wanted to run out in a panic. "This servant will go find Dr. Sun right now. Come back." Su Wan and Su Rui spoke at the same time. Hearing their words, Shunning paused in her footsteps and looked at them with a strange expression. "Hey, you're actually going to find Dr. Sun?" Su Rui smiled coldly at Shunning. Although Sun Zhangyi didn't poison Su Wan, he was bribed by the eldest madam and lied against his conscience. "What's the point of finding him? You want to kill your master? What?" Shunning immediately widened her eyes at Su Wan. "Eldest madam, this, Shunning, you saw it too. The Yin family isn't a place for people to stay. If I die, the eldest madam will make you die with me. If I'm lucky enough to not die, she'll think of ways to kill me again." Saying this, Su Wan laughed mockingly. People outside are envious of the Yin family's women's limitless glory, but how many people know about the filth inside? "Shunning, I'm doing this for your own good. Go follow the third master and be his servant girl. The third master will protect you." Saying this, Su Wan turned to look at Su Rui. "Take Shunning in. She has no way to survive in the Yin family." In the original plot, after Su Wan died, Shunning's days in the Yin residence were really tough. Not only did she have to endure the oppression of the eldest madam's direct descendants, but she was even betrothed to an old man who was older than her by 20 years as a concubine. In the end, unable to endure her husband's beating and scolding, Shunning hung herself in her husband's house. This was the outcome of her personal servant girl. Before the original body passed away, she told Yin Beige to take good care of her personal servant girl. After Su Wan died, Yin Beige was too sad and forgot about Shunning. Later on, he had Guangli. How could he remember the promise he made to Su Wan's sickbed? Chapter 335. The black blood Su Wan spat out was the remaining poison in her heart. After ordering Shunning to clean up the bloodstains, only Su Rui and Su Wan were left in the room. Seeing Su Wan's skinny face, Su Rui's heart ached a bit as he gently placed his hand on her face. His warm fingertips gently caressed her fair skin. "Wife, tell me, how do you want to kill the women in the Yin family?" Although Yarrow Baiqian and the others were the original body's owner, the one suffering from the pain was Su Wan. Plus, other than Yarrow Baiqian and Yarrow Ruofeng who were the masterminds, there were many other accomplices. There were even those who knew the inside story but were watching from the side. Su Rui wouldn't let any of them off. "Amen. Let's put it this way. General Su planned on destroying the Yin family." Su Wan smiled. "It's easy to kill Yarrow Baiqian, but before that, we need to make her pay some interest. Plus, Guangli still needs to wait for a while before she can meet Yin Beige. We have time to play with them." Saying this, Su Wan smiled and tossed the medicinal ingredients Shunning bought for her from the medicinal workshop, a meaningful smile on her lips. "Destroy the Yin family? No, no, no." She wanted to break down the Yin family step by step. Plus, destroying them all at once was far more interesting than watching them die bit by bit. "Wife, these medicinal ingredients." Su Rui also smelled the faint scent of the medicinal ingredients in Su Wan's hands. He wasn't familiar with these medicinal ingredients. But he knew that Su Wan was good at using these medicinal ingredients to make poison. "These are all good stuff. This is my present to Yin Beige." Su Wan winked at Su Rui and then leaned against his ear, softly whispering. Hearing Su Wan's words, Su Rui's expression also slightly changed. "What do you mean? It's better to offend a villain than a woman?" "Nani?" General Su finally understood the essence of this sentence. "Wife, You're so ruthless, Tilda, but this general likes it. I have to be ruthless to my ex-boyfriend. Wife, please don't mind. Tonight, Su Rui kept watching Su Wan sleep. Knowing that her body was too weak, he sat by the bed and held her hand. As long as he felt her palm become a bit cold, he would subconsciously transfer some internal force to her meridians. Before the sky brightened, Shunning came to Su Wan's room early like usual to light a fire. But the moment she entered, she felt warm inside. She saw the fire that had been lit a long time ago, and the man who had not slept the entire night leaning against the bed. Shunning was startled. For some reason, she suddenly thought of the dead young master. Although the young master's body was weak back then, he would wake up before the young mistress every day. He would often sit by the bed with his clothes draped over him and stare at the sleeping young mistress in a daze. Every time Shunning came in, the young master would gently wave his hand at her and tell her not to disturb the young mistress's sweet dreams. Shunning had never liked anyone and didn't know what love was. But at that time, she thought that big young master was such a good man. Every day, even when he looked at big young mistress's back, his eyes were so gentle. Maybe that was love. Unfortunately, big young mistress had always liked second young master. Shunning couldn't help but sigh. Su Rui tiptoed up and glared at Shunning. Don't wake her up. Let her sleep a bit more, okay? Oh, okay. Shunning quickly nodded. For the first time, she felt that the third master wasn't as scary as the rumors said. I'm leaving. Su Rui quietly left. Before leaving, he looked back every few steps, reluctant to part. Take good care of her. Don't worry. Other than her, I'm not interested in any other woman. As long as you take good care of her, I'll arrange a good marriage for you when you enter my residence in the future. Su Rui leaned against Shunning and muttered a few words before turning to leave. Seeing the slender figure leave, Shunning subconsciously looked back at Su Wan, who was sleeping soundly on the bed. Big young mistress, are you happy marrying into the Yin family or not? For the next few days, Su Rui would come after nightfall and leave before dawn. Shunning was used to these days too. She wasn't as afraid of the third master as before. But thinking that she would have to leave big young mistress in a few days, she felt reluctant. Third master, this servant thinks that you're really amazing. Can you save big young mistress? On the fourth morning, Shunning couldn't help but block Su Rui's path. Save her. Of course he had to save her, but Yin family doesn't need big young mistress anymore. Shunning, you should understand this. They don't need big young mistress. Shunning froze, a bit confused. By the time she came back to her senses, Su Rui had already left. On the fifth day, Su Rui didn't appear because Yin Beige came back today. The young general who came back from the battlefield went straight to the side courtyard. This made Yarrow Ruorfeng in the main room clench her teeth in anger. The travel-worn man was still wearing a greenish-grey military uniform. After entering the outer hall, Yin Beige handed the military cap to Shunning. How's big young mistress? Shunning's expression darkened hearing Yin Beige's question. Second master, big young mistress, she can't get off the bed lately. What? Hearing Shunning's words, Yin Beige's footsteps sped up and he entered the room. The room was especially warm, but this small room was filled with a thick smell of loneliness. Sister-in-law? Yin Beige saw the haggard woman on the bed as soon as he entered. She was clearly in her early 20s, which was the prime of a woman's life. But now, she no longer had the peerless beauty of the past. She looked sickly, and her beautiful eyes were dark and lifeless. Second brother, you're back? Seeing the man in the well-ironed military uniform at the door with a stern and deep face, Su Wan struggled to support her body and sit up. However, she failed after trying twice. Heh! Su Wan couldn't help but laugh in self-mockery. Look at my useless body. I won't get up to talk to you. Don't mind me. Yin Beige's gaze darkened hearing Su Wan's words and seeing the loneliness and self-mockery in her eyes. He walked over and before Su Wan could react, he was already by the bed. He bent down and used his abnormally strong arms to carry her in his arms. Didn't I tell you to write me if anything happened before I left? You're this sick and you're still acting tough. Yin Beige, what are you doing? Seeing that Yin Beige didn't care about etiquette and carried her, Su Wan's expression didn't look good and she panicked. Hurry, hurry and put me down. What a disgrace. I'm not letting go. I'll take you to see a doctor, the best doctor in Liao City. If they can't cure you, I'll take you to the capital. If they can't cure you, I'll take you abroad. Su Wan, you can't die. Chapter 336. Hearing Yin Beige mention the deceased Yin Beiyu, Su Wan's gaze immediately turned sorrowful. Yin Beige, what right do you have to take care of me for him? Saying this, Su Wan suddenly turned her head and bit the back of Yin Beige's hand. Feeling the pain on the back of his hand, Yin Beige merely furrowed his brows, but he didn't loosen his grip at all. Whether I have the right or not isn't up to you to decide. In the Yin family, I have the final say. Yin Beige carried Su Wan and was about to walk out. Seeing how domineering the young general was, Shunning's gaze flickered. The first person she thought of was the third master. Sniffle, third master, quickly come and save the eldest Madame Tilda sister-in-law. Just as Shunning was begging for help, someone really did come. The woman who came in wore a crimson chipao and a snow-white, luxurious fur shawl. Her long black hair was tied into a beautiful bun, and there were all sorts of expensive jewelry in her hair. Compared to the pale-faced Su Wan in Yin Beige's arms, the woman in front of her was simply dazzling with jewels. Only the second madam, Yarrow Ruorfeng, dared to dress so ostentatiously in the Yin residence. The 19-year-old Yarrow Ruorfeng was the same as her aunt, Yarrow Baiqian. They were both the most outstanding beauties in the Yarrow family. Yarrow Baiqian was dignified and elegant while Yarrow Ruorfeng was a classical beauty. From last night, Yarrow Ruorfeng knew that Yin Beige would return today. Therefore, after showering and changing, she ordered her personal maid, Yu Xiu, to dress herself up meticulously. She even sprayed the French perfume that the second madam had someone bring back from abroad. As the saying goes, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Plus, the man who was about to return was Yin Beige, the man that Yarrow Ruorfeng had admired since she was young. But what Yarrow Ruorfeng didn't expect was that while she was anxiously waiting for her husband who she hadn't seen for a long time, her husband didn't even enter her courtyard and rushed to the side courtyard. Side courtyard, Su Wan. After hearing this news, Yarrow Ruorfeng naturally brought Yu Xiu to the side courtyard. At this moment, Yarrow Ruorfeng stood at the door and looked at the people in the room. She couldn't help but grip her handkerchief tightly. She rushed over with Yu Xiu. Although she tried her best to calm herself down, she saw her husband hugging her brother's widow the moment she entered the room. How could she calm down in such a situation? Seeing that Yarrow Ruorfeng's expression was becoming uglier and uglier, Yu Xiu couldn't help but tug on Yarrow Ruorfeng's sleeves and whispered, "Second young mistress, you have to calm down. Calm down. Calm down. That's right. My aunt has always told me to stay calm no matter what happens. Don't let anger get to your head. What's more, that fox demon wouldn't be able to live for more than a few days. Why should he be jealous of a dead person?" Thinking about this, Yarrow Ruorfeng heaved a sigh of relief. She put away the jealousy in her eyes and smiled as she looked up. However, her gaze landed on the back of Yin Beige's bleeding hand. "Beige, your hand's injured." When Yarrow Ruorfeng saw that her husband was bleeding, she instinctively went forward and took out her handkerchief to bandage his wound. However, when she got closer and saw the row of teeth marks on the back of his hand, Yarrow Ruorfeng's movements froze. She looked up in disbelief and saw the blood on the corner of Su Wan's lips. "You bit him." Yarrow Ruorfeng's gaze at Su Wan turned unusually cold. How could she do this? Seeing Yarrow Ruorfeng's gaze, Su Wan couldn't help but lean her face against Yin Beige's chest. She smiled mockingly and provocatively at Yarrow Ruorfeng. "It's me." Su Wan's provocative smile finally defeated Yarrow Ruorfeng's last bit of rationality. "You fox demon. Get down here. You're shameless. A widow that's about to die actually seduced her brother-in-law. Su Wan, you're shameless. Enough." Seeing that Yarrow Ruorfeng was about to pull Su Wan's arm, Yin Beiji's gaze turned cold. He berated while pushing Yarrow Ruorfeng to the side. Are you crazy? Can't you see that she's really sick? Sick? Which sick person would still be in the mood to seduce a man? She's clearly pretending. Yarrow Ruorfeng's exquisite face was twisted in anger. Yin Beige, I'm your legitimate wife. She's your sister-in-law. Even if your brother dies, she can only be your sister-in-law for the rest of her life. Don't you feel embarrassed if this gets out? This is my business. Yarrow Ruorfeng, you're meddling too much. Hearing Yarrow Ruorfeng's words, Yin Beiji's expression turned gloomy. Ahem. At this time, Su Wn suddenly coughed in Yin Beiji's arms. Hearing the heart-wrenching coughs, Yin Beige immediately looked at Su Wan in concern. It's okay. Bear with it. I'll take you out of the residence to see a doctor right now. It's no use. Su Wn lifted her head and her gaze landed on Yin Beiji's stern face. Yin Beige, I don't need your fake kindness. If you're really doing this for me, for Beiyu, then you shouldn't be here and you shouldn't be doing these things. Yin Beige, all of your concern is just poison to me. Don't you know why I ended up like this? Saying this, Su Wn struggled with all her might again. This time, Yin Beige froze on the spot because of what she said. This allowed Su Wn to easily struggle out of his arms. Seeing that she was about to fall on the ground, Shunning immediately ran over and supported Su Wan. Eldest madam, be careful. I'm fine. Su Wn wiped the blood from the corner of her lips and looked at Yin Beige and Yarrow Ruorfeng. You're not welcome here. Leave. As she spoke, she turned to look at Shunning beside her. Shunning, help me back. Yes. Shunning nodded and silently helped Su Wan to the bed. Su Wan. Yin Beige snapped out of his trance and looked at her skinny figure. He couldn't help but call her name softly. Brother's death, do you still blame me? Heh. Su Wan sneered. I don't blame anyone. I can only blame myself for being blind. The person I've let down the most is Beiyu. I'm doing great right now. I'm about to go down and accompany him. No one is accompanying him. He's really lonely down there. That kind of loneliness. Yin Beige, you'll never understand. You're not him, so I don't need you. Please, take your wife and leave. Saying this, Su Wan returned to the bed and had Shunning pull down the curtains. The dark blue brocade curtains separated the small room into two different worlds. Yin Beige, you think you're good but you're actually a poison. Chapter 337. Coming out of Su Wan's side courtyard, Yin Beige wore a dark expression while Yarrow Ruorfeng followed behind him. Halfway there, she hesitated and wanted to pull Yin Beiji's military uniform. But the moment her fingers touched his sleeves, the man in front of her fiercely flung her away. Yarrow Ruorfeng bit her lips. Looking at Yin Beiji's tall and slender figure, she hesitated for a bit. In the end, she still wore a wronged expression and quickly followed behind the man. The two of them brought Yu Xiu back to their courtyard in silence. As soon as they entered the main room, they saw Yarrow Baiqian in a dark golden robe sitting in the living room. She was sipping tea with a calm expression. Mother. Seeing her aunt and mother-in-law, Yarrow Ruorfeng immediately ran over and grabbed Yarrow Baiqian's arm coquettishly. Mother, you're here. Hurry and persuade Beige. He's been angry at me. I didn't do anything. I'm really doing this for his own good. Okay. Yarrow Baiqian put down the teacup and didn't look at Yarrow Ruorfeng's expression. Instead, she glanced at Yu Xiu. Yu Xiu, help your young madam into the room to rest. Yes, madam. Yu Xiu came from the Yarrow family, so she naturally listened to Yarrow Baiqian. Seeing that her mother-in-law had spoken, Yarrow Ruorfeng immediately let go and bowed at Yarrow Baiqian. Then she allowed Yu Xiu to help her into the room. Zhen Lan. After the master and servant left, Yarrow Baiqian raised her hand and called Zhen Lan to her side. She whispered a few words to her and Zhen Lan nodded respectfully. Then, she straightened her body and brought all the servants away. Before she left, Zhen Lan even carefully closed the door. Right now, only Yarrow Baiqian and Yin Beige were left in the living room. Mother, what do you want to say? Yin Beige could tell that his mother wanted to say something. He looked at Yarrow Baiqian and asked, is it about Su Wan? Slap. Yarrow Baiqian slammed the teacup on the mahogany table. That's your sister-in-law, how can you call her by her name? She had just returned, but she didn't even enter her own courtyard and directly ran to the side courtyard. People who didn't know better would think that you really had some shameful relationship with her. Beige, you're your father's only legitimate son. You're the young commander of Liao City and the only heir of the Yin family. You can't ruin your future in the hands of a shameless woman. Mother, you can't say that about Su, sister-in-law. She didn't do anything to let Big Brother down. What happened to Big Brother that day was obviously because of me. Enough. Yarrow Baiqian swept the teacup on the table onto the ground. She stood up and quickly walked in front of Yin Beige. She lifted her face and stared into his eyes. Do you want the entire world to know how your brother died? Do you want everyone in Liao City to criticize you and say that you once tried to violate your sister-in-law? Yarrow Baiqian's eyes were cold. Beige, Beiyu isn't here anymore. Mother only has you. Because of a woman, I already lost your brother. I can't lose you because of her. Why can't you understand Mother's painstaking efforts? Seeing the tears in Yarrow Baiqian's eyes and the faint wrinkles on her dignified face, Yin Beige looked down and the lines on his face gradually softened. Mother, I know that everything you do is for me and for this family. He lifted his hand and gently held Yarrow Baiqian's shoulder. Mother, I know I was wrong. I don't have any other thoughts. I promised Big Brother that I would help him take care of sister-in-law. Now that she's so sick, I'm worried. I've already thought about it. I'll send someone to send sister-in-law to the Western Doctor's clinic tomorrow and let the foreigners check her again. No. Hearing Yin Beige's words, Yarrow Baiqian's gaze flickered and she immediately rejected his suggestion. Who is your sister-in-law? How can she show her face in front of the foreigners? Don't think that I don't know what the foreigners are doing. They want to touch and take off her clothes. Where would our Yin family's face then? Don't bother with your sister-in-law's matters in the future. Mother has already invited the best doctors in the capital over. Their ancestors are the imperial physicians of the previous dynasty. They specialize in treating the emperor. How can those foreign doctors be compared to the imperial physicians? Yin Beige's gaze flickered. Mother, you really invited the imperial physicians to treat sister-in-law? That's great. She can be cured. There's hope. Yarrow Baiqian looked down and sneered inwardly. That woman couldn't be kept alive anymore. This time, she would end it all and send her to the next world. Night, Yin family's courtyard. When Yin Beige came out of the study, snowflakes were falling from the sky. It was really a snowy winter. Seeing the pure white snowflakes, Yin Beige froze. He suddenly recalled the first time he met Su Wan overseas. It was also a snowy day. That day, she wore a red coat, and her whole body was wrapped in a bright red color. In the heavy snow of winter, her smile made the pure white world glow with a new color in an instant. Unknowingly, Yin Beige walked to the side courtyard again. He looked at the small and lonely courtyard door and sighed. He was about to turn and leave when a familiar song rang in the courtyard. The wind blew and the clouds swayed. The waves on the ocean rose with the wind. Father went fishing and didn't return home. Mother missed him by the shore. This was Su Wan's favorite ballad. Yin Beige paused and his gaze gradually became absent-minded. Why is the tune of this song so sad? I don't know. Every time my mother sings it, she seems to be reminiscing and missing. That day, the moonlight was like water. It was the Mid-Autumn Festival in a foreign country. Su Wan quietly sat next to Yin Beige and looked at the moon. Her tone was really gentle. Every time I miss my mother, I have to sing this song. Every time I hum this song, I feel like she's by my side and has never left. Silly girl. Yin Beige couldn't help but lift Su Wan's head and let her rest her head on his shoulder. If I'm not by your side in the future, will you still sing this song for me? Will you think of me? Su Wan's face flushed but she still nodded slightly. I will. But I still hope that we can be together forever and never separate. The promise of forever was like the snowflakes in front of him. They fell, melted, and then disappeared. Yin Beige suddenly wanted to charge into the courtyard and ask her if she still loved him or not. But he didn't have the courage. Ever since his elder brother died, he didn't have the courage to ask her anymore. He was afraid. Afraid of the answer. No matter what the answer was, he didn't dare to accept it. Yin Beiyu. Between them was a person who had died a long time ago. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.